At 7:01.
Yeah.
Call to order at 7:01.
That's good.
Okay, let's,
No wasting time.
Meeting has begun. I would like to move up to the first two items on the agenda, the Soundview Commission and the Water Pollution Control Authority. Does anyone have any objections to moving those two items up?
No.
Hearing none, there's unanimous consent, and that's what we're doing. So we'll start with the Soundview Commission, and we have to find that on the new sheets, right?
I thought it was on.
First one. I'm lost.
It's on page 2 at the very bottom, but it really is all on page 3.
Top of 3.
There's just one line and it's
I
just the
see.
title
Okay.
on this one. Frank, you're online?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So bear with me for a minute, Frank. Oh, I see it.
No problem.
All right, so it's really just the first few lines on page 3 with a proposed budget this year of 45,665 compared to last year's 43,134. And I guess the principal increase is in the contracted services. You want to talk a little bit about that, Frank?
Last year, we did make some changes to the budget. Our original budget was a little higher requested. And we came back and Martha had asked us to look at some of our services and see which ones we could defer. So we deferred some and took some money out of the contracted services, which is what we did. And we just put it back in for this year.
I think also one of the occurrences, Frank, is that you're having additional speed humps. So that's why your
Yes.
contractor for speed humps has increased.
That's correct.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry
can
about
see
that.
No.
Anita's note on the right explains where you get the $10,000.
Yeah, because it's never been at $10,000 previously.
No.
Yeah, like Martha said, we moved around some of the categories based on what Anita wanted to do, and Martha in turns making some things more consistent with the rest of the town budgets.
So other items have gone down. That one went up with a net increase of $2,500.
And other items went down.
Yep. Anyone have any questions for Frank or any comments for the board? Yes, Sana.
The porta potty service, is that the fee for this year has just increased, or is that, because it seems to have gone, we budgeted significantly higher last year than the year before, but we didn't quite use that. I assume that's because we have some more coming.
Well, we have
But
up
you'll
till
have
July
payments.
30th. Yes.
Right.
May to
Right.
June 1st.
But is that going to cover the remaining $8,000? It seems like a lot for 2 months.
I
A
don't,
full
do they,
month is about $5,000 or $6,000, and a half a month is a little bit less than that.
does that include the drop-off service, Frank? At the initial setup?
That's all included in. We budgeted for that for this year or for last year, this current fiscal year.
But to elaborate on Anna's question, the actuals for prior years have never exceeded 12,500, and the actual as of January 31st of this year is only 11,000. So I guess the question is, where did the 20,565 come from?
Because you're gonna have about 6,000 more added for May and June before you close out the year. So that 11 will grow to about 18.
Okay,
And then 20 will get us through this rest of the summer and into the spring of the following
I
year.
know you answered my question. I didn't anticipate that people were going to be using the porta potty that much before July 1st.
Well, we have to have them there as soon as the beach, we have to have them, we have to have them there.
It's just there's a big jump from 24, 25 to 25, 26.
Well, that's because we had a different person.
Okay, that was my question.
Our different contractor changed because somebody sold.
We're very pleased with this contractor. He's doing a great job.
Okay,
Well, for 20 grand, he ought to.
Well,
Well,
he's
he's
there.
had,
He's there 3-4 days a week. He's there every weekend, 6 o'clock, Saturday morning, 6 o'clock Sunday morning. He's there Monday morning, Wednesday morning. He's there a lot.
and
Okay.
he's,
It's important to keep it clean.
And-
Usable.
and he's worked with us when there's been fireworks thrown into the porta potties and people have made a mess out of a porta potty. He's cleaned it and dealt with it and been nice to us still.
I'll make a motion for the 45,006. Is it 665?
yes.
Okay, Andy makes it, Candace seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
65?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So Frank, you can, it's up to you, but there will be discussions in capital, but I didn't know if you wanted to stay on, but I can
45,
fight for you if you
665.
want.
Where do you
I
see
can stay
that?
on, I can stay on for a while. When, is that coming later on?
It is, it's coming up after this, all this.
Oh,
Yeah,
one
I've
got
more
it. We gotta get
year.
through-
Thank you.
We gotta
No
get through
problem.
water pollution control.
Okay, and
Birthday.
next item up is WPCA.
So could I just say something before we start for WPCA?
Yes,
We did not have a budget really presented to us from WPCA at first. So Anita and I initially put in last year's request. Then Andrea Lombard came in at the end of January, beginning of February, and changed some numbers with Anita. And then Mary Daly, who's online and is the new chair of the WPCA, reworked the numbers with Anita and I over the last few days. So this is,
And their committee members?
Mary?
WPCA
yeah,
and Andrea?
Andrea has resigned,
Okay,
but she's
okay,
was helping.
Mary
Mary Taylor's the new chair.
okay.
did she have to lobby hard for that position?
Not to.
So what's the number, Martha?
The number,
'Cause I'm looking at a bottom line of 91,158
For this year.
from the
That-
Board of Selectmen for this year.
that,
Yeah, it's the
For the current year.
113.
The 113
Go
is in
Two columns to the left.
113. The 91 is what the Board of Selectmen approved.
because that's what we had, because we didn't have, the previous board chair had not provided us with a budget in December.
So the new number is 113,476.
Right.
It
And
looks like that increase is in legal.
there is a increase in legal. I'm not,
In
23.
legal and water testing.
Yeah.
So if I may, this is Mary.
Yeah,
The
go ahead
input-
and comment, please.
Thank you. So the water testing, since we're sort of at a bypass right now with the sewer project, was a recommendation that came from the Board of Selectmen that we go back and test again, since our data is from 2007 and our environment has changed significantly since that time. So today, I actually got a quote from Environmental Consulting, who did the testing prior in the past for us. And I thought it was very reasonable to open the 5 wells in Soundview. They estimated 2,350, and we'd like to do that 3 times at the end of March and June, August, and October. And that will give us before and after the majority of the people are in town. We feel that that would be a good base for us so that we do know if we do have groundwater pollution or not. So that's why the
Indeed.
water testing was put in.
Well, yeah, I mean, that certainly makes common sense. Is that the kind of testing that DEP was relying on so many years ago?
That is the testing that
Just
they
from the
have.
wells?
That's what they got. It's the same wells. There are 5 wells in Soundview versus 10 for some reason in Hawks Nest. But we have 5 wells, and Dennis believes they're all above ground, so there shouldn't be any added complexity in opening, hopefully, in opening them and drawing samples out and having them sent to the lab.
Good.
And then.
But when DEP tested some years ago, they found there was contamination, and we're hoping that's changed.
That's always been a big question, but yes. We believe that our environment has changed significantly. The wells that showed the most or significant pollution was well, I think number 2, which is in the town parking lot. And the other is on Hartford Avenue near the 2 buildings that have been torn down for years now. So, and one of those 2 buildings, I think Frank Noe's, was actually cited for pollution, and that building has been gone for quite some time.
Mary, are you looking to have this testing done this spring or next spring?
I'm hoping to get it done very soon.
Well, then that's this current year's budget, not the budget we're working on.
Right.
So we'd have to look to see if we have the funds now.
Well, actually, I heard Mary say she wants to test at several different points in time.
Yeah.
What are the points in time that you would do the testing, Mary?
Well, we were hoping to do it sometime late March before the influx of what you call the beach people. Then in June, toward the end of August, and then again in October. We feel those
So
are
it
the
looks to me
significant
like
points.
you've got 2 tests in this fiscal year and 2 tests in next fiscal year,
True.
which means we ought to reduce the 14,000 for next fiscal year to 7,000. And you want to make a special request for this fiscal year, unless we have money in the budget. Anita?
No, she also added another 4,000, which for the report at the end. The
Right, that
additional
was-
$4,000, we're gonna be 10,000 for the testing, plus 4,000 for the report.
for the
So we'd
report,
be
and that-
reducing by 5,000.
Okay.
Got it on there.
But hold up, because you might have to do testing into the spring of next year.
Yeah.
You
Right,
you
and
can't
that's-
just say, we're gonna only do testing for 1 round.
I mean, what I heard was March and May, so I was thinking, this year.
Yes,
I mean, I don't have a problem with the money, the amount she's requesting for next year, but it sounds like
she might need.
we don't
some.
want to wait till next year to get testing done.
So
So
We
that's a
haven't had-
separate issue that.
we have not had any instructions from Deep at this point in time. So maybe we could wait, Mary, and then if you needed an appropriation of $5,000, you could come before the Board of Selectmen this year to get it done in the spring.
Whatever is best, I'm agreeable to. I do think, as the Department of Health had recommended, that really testing should have been an ongoing basis, like quarterly anyway. And so perhaps going forward, this would be a continual line item.
Doesn't Ledgelight do regular testing over there?
Ledgelight does testing of the sound, but not
Beaches.
necessarily groundwater. Individuals do testing of their wells, and we are collecting that information as well. We also have test results from Connecticut Water on their wells, which looks really good. So we're trying to collect as much information as we can.
Where are the Connecticut water wells?
Cross
They're
Lane.
the other,
Yeah.
they're north of.
On the other side.
North of 156. And we have I have their test results from Connecticut Water, but we
Yeah.
also have a private well who's very close to the Connecticut water wells, whose wells came out great. So we're trying to get other samples from other properties along North 156, so as much data as we can.
So does this testing meet the deadlines that Deep might be imposing?
They haven't imposed anything on us.
But
Right.
anticipating.
Well, I mean,
That's
it's great
what-
to collect this information. You just want it to be able to be used. And
And Mary, is there any reason, like you're saying late March, June, late August, and October? Is there any reason you're not testing the other half of the year? Like typically when you see environmental testing like this, you want each quarter of the year. I understand that you also want to watch and see what's going on, but sometimes that's hard to see because environmental impacts don't move always that quickly through the water table. So you might not see something in August you might see that in December or November, depending on a bunch of things. So, DEEP might ask you to adjust that schedule as well.
That's where I was
Right.
thinking.
We're trying to get a baseline before the area is heavily populated. And then during the peak season, to see what differences there are. But also I agree with you. And I think that going forward, this should have been a line item a long time ago to do it at least quarterly.
Right, so that would suggest that we leave the 14,000
so.
in for the next fiscal year.
I think so.
And in addition, appropriate $5,000 for this fiscal year.
If.
What?
Well, we're gonna have more information. They haven't even had a full WPCA meeting since they all got elected. I mean, they did, but they didn't have a true total agenda. I just would like a little bit more guidance for them before they come back for an appropriation. I mean, that can be done. We're meeting almost every week. Board of Selectmen.
What do you mean by guidance?
I just think we need more guidance from what people are going to expect from us.
And if you notice, currently, they've only spent $5,000.
Money's in the budget.
Put in a bill for, consulting, so some financial fees of $50,000.
Mhm.
So they're still well under $35,000 for their. budget.
So the WPCA has money left in
Yeah.
this year's budget if they need it.
Mhm.
Okay, so then let's agree, Mary, that we'll vote to approve, I think, the 14,000 for the next fiscal year that begins July 1st. And then the WPCA will talk with Martha and the Board of Selectmen about doing testing this fiscal year before July 1st.
That sounds great. Thank you.
So the other increase that's in here is legal counsel, which I guess isn't really a surprise, but it says adjusted by Andrea Lombard. Can you just explain how we got to that number?
I have no
can
idea.
explain- I
You
can't
may have
explain
talked-
that. I think at one point she thought it was recommended by the Board of Selectmen, but no, I can't explain how. If you see what was provided, it was the
Okay.
25-26 budget, but not the actuals really. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's difficult to explain.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would suggest that the legal budget is really pretty uncertain at this point because we don't know what fights we're gonna have.
Right.
You're gonna have fights with DEEP. Are we gonna have fights with the other beach associations? So, I mean, people, we can agree on whatever you want, but it's a shot in the dark right now.
What a risk
I-
around that number.
I don't think it needs to be that high.
Well, let's move it. We can increase it next year as necessary.
Well, the Board of Selectmen recommended originally the 45, leaving it flat
Yeah.
from last year. Again, if they get in a legal battle, they're gonna come back to us anyway.
So just so you know, today we paid a bill for the bonding council. The bonding council had basically been working for free over the last 2 to 3 years with Steve and WPCA because they were thinking they were moving towards a referendum where we were going to bond additional funds. Normally, that would have been rolled over into the bond. But because of the fact that we're not bonding at this point in time, our referendum failed. Therefore, he sent a bill. And he had told Steve it was well over 45,000 months ago. And it was 51, 52. So Anita paid that today and they may be over, but we wanted to pay him because he's done an excessive amount of work.
But they will be still under for the year.
Well, how about appropriating 50,000 for next year, understanding it's arbitrary?
Okay, whatever you want.
And that'll give us a little more cushion so we don't have to go to a town meeting. Does that make sense to folks?
Yeah.
So 50 instead of the 68, Mary, with the understanding that it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and if you need more money, you just come back and talk about it.
Great, thank you so much.
The new number would be 95,476.
How do you get that? We're going, minus 18 is 95,476?
Yes.
Gotcha.
I'll move.
Oops, sorry.
Is
go
that
ahead.
gonna be 113?
Well, it's 113 minus, we reduced
We
the
just
legal
took
by
off
$18,000.
95,476.
I'll move 95,476 for the WPCA.
Second.
Anna and Kim, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you for the job. I think it's probably not the easiest one in town.
See you tomorrow, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back up the agenda to capital outlay. Did you give us new sheets for that?
Yes.
So last
Yep.
one,
Expenditures.
not last.
Yep.
Well, then there is a single sheet, but there is also a,
There's also, the sheet behind it is going out all the different years.
That's great.
The first 2000 is just what was first there.
Okay.
David had asked us
It
to,
goes all the way out.
David had asked us to do some projections for future years out, so we did. So that's the two sheets that are stapled behind it, which has all of the additional information going out to the best of our knowledge as of this time.
Right, so it's substantially similar to the sheet that we got in our books.
Yeah, there's just a couple of minor changes, some things that were involved.
Yep.
The sheets that were on your book, basically we added, harbor management went from 20 to 40. And that's due because they're applying for a grant. So they kind of needed the 40, a total of 60 promised, they have 20 carryover. And they have, they have 20 this year, they're gonna carry that over and then they'll lose 40 next year. We'll give them the 60 so that they can get the grant.
I can explain what happened on that one if anyone, I mean,
Which line is that? Is that 1511?
that is.
That the permitting dock, Horseneck Creek? Okay.
Yes.
The other change from what is in your book is, DMS for stormwater. We moved that into public works and that was approved in the public works budget. So we took that out, so that's not reduced. So them are basically the two changes on the new sheet.
So, Martha, I've got a couple of questions. On the painting, the exterior painting of Town Hall,
Mhm.
the note says one side per year per Eric.
Right.
Question, should we go out to bid and do once every 4 years? So is the question whether we should paint the whole Town Hall every 4 years?
Well, that was our discussion last year. We were doing one side per year.
Okay, and so it is the professional consensus that the building needs to be repainted every 4 years. I looked to David for that question.
I raised that point last year,
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
did ask a
Yeah.
reputable painter in town about that. And
And
he
nothing
didn't
was
say it was necessary.
I'm sorry.
Nothing was decided whether they just ended up, we only ended up putting in half of what it costs to paint one side into the budget. So no one said a definite, like, we're gonna do this every 4 years. No one said, oh, we're gonna do it every year. No one.
But we started saving,
Right,
saving for it.
right. So
So let's let
I think they're
Martha
two
finish.
different questions. That's the dollar amount on the one side and the timing on the other.
I don't think Martha finished.
I haven't
Oh, I'm
said,
sorry.
I haven't said a complete sentence.
Okay.
as far as right now, the glare from the snow, you really can't tell what the building looks like because it's all white. So we haven't really looked to see what is the need for this year. I think Eric at this point in time put in two sides for this year if need be. If not, we will reassess. But we still think that you need to put some money aside because eventually we will have to repaint the entire building.
So we've got 8275 in the current year budget that we haven't
I-
spent any of. So does that mean if we
Hold on.
do the 16.5, we'd have enough money for three sides of the building?
I believe we would.
And then do we just wait
And then
for 2 years out and just, maybe it's cheaper to have the painter come and do the whole thing at once?
that's right.
If there's not a side that, I mean, some sides of buildings
Bit more.
get more sun and more wear and tear. And may need painting or some care more often so we don't get rot.
And in the last year, we've done some tree trimming to keep things away from the building. We've also done some re-landscaping where we've pulled things away from the building as well. So there's not that much as effect on the building as there was.
So based on these numbers, is the thought that the whole building would cost about $33,000 to paint? In other words, is it $8,000 per side?
No, last year we shrunk it down to 8,000, which was only half. It's usually about 14 to 16 per
Per
side.
side.
Per side.
Well, it's almost 3 tiers. If you're in the back, it's like going up 3 stories.
Then we get a quote for, without having it being done this year, get a quote for the whole building in today's dollars. Granted, it might change.
Mhm.
And then get a quote for the back side of the building.
Or 2
And-
sides.
Or find out from the painter and say, look,
What do you recommend?
is there an efficiency here to doing it all at once, or it's a big enough building?
I can ask Eric to do that tomorrow.
You know,
I'd be more than happy to.
I think that'd help us in making a decision.
So is the 8,000 carried over to this year that we didn't spend last
We
year?
would ask for that.
Yeah, he'll request.
He'll request it.
I'm sorry?
He
Yes.
will request to have it carried over
Okay, so
because
that'll give us 25,000.
Assuming that we budget the 16.
So what do people think? I mean, I'm happy
Yeah.
to budget it and have the Eric and Martha make the prudent decision when to paint.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I agree.
So, Soundview restroom facility, the 125, and that's obviously budgeted over a few years. What's the 125 based on?
I'm sorry, where are we?
Soundview restroom facility?
That Frank is online and you can talk to him. We took it out last year because we were waiting to see what would happen with sewers. So he had asked for an appropriation last year, a line item last year, and we took it out because we knew we weren't ready but basically and Frank, you can jump in, but
Yeah, sure.
basically he's asking for an engineer to do some work and then possibly to give us some ideas of whether we're going to go to I'm thinking we're thinking composting at this point, right, Frank?
Yeah, so we have in this current fiscal year, we have $20,000 in for restroom facility consulting. So we're looking at that as being the conceptual plan, kind of getting the community involved. What are we going to look at? Community event, community input, a couple of different plans. And then now after that gets resolved from that consultant, we need to go into some type of engineering program. So prepare construction documents and go out to bid when we're ready to do that.
So
So that's what
Frank,
25.
the number, go ahead.
That's what the 25 is for this current, for the budget request, the 20, that's what this 25 is for.
Well, I don't know where the 25 that you're talking about. We're talking,
It's right below.
It's right
what I just
underneath
asked
the
about.
Next line.
oh, the next line item.
Yeah.
Okay, that's for the
I didn't see
engineer.
that either.
But
A lot
up
of numbers.
above, it says 125,000 spread over 3 years. Is that because there's an estimate of 375,000? It's 125 each year, we're funding it?
Yeah, it's
Well,
just, it's, yeah, putting it, Martha, you want to respond to that? Because we talked about that the other day.
Well, if you see what we've done is we've put in for 26 and 27 and 28. We've given you 300 and,
Total of
$350,000 spread out is what we're anticipating request, but we won't know, but we're just saying to you, if you're gonna put, it's like saving for the fire engine.
Right.
You put 125 away this year, we'll have the engineer start to do some studies, we'll have more, better numbers next year. But Frank had some initial numbers at about 350,000
Yeah.
to build a restroom facility
Mhm.
down there. And they have I found some beautiful plans that were drawn up at one point in time to improve the parking lot and put in this bathroom facility. And I found them and said to Frank, whatever happened to this? Because it's not there.
So we're talking about this restroom facility in Soundview, but we were just moments ago talking about porta potties down there.
We have to have porta
Yeah.
potties, Candace.
This wouldn't be done for 3 or 4 years.
I see. Okay, so this is, this is not anything existing right now.
No, we don't have
No,
anything.
Okay,
No restrooms.
Porta
I'm
done.
sorry, I didn't know. You
Yeah.
don't have to-
We have a fenced in area with 6 porta potties. One is a handicapped one.
So, the restroom facility engineer, you have $20,000 from this year that hasn't been spent, and you are asking for another $25,000 for next year. Is that for a total of 45,000? It's not clear in the note.
We're anticipating that this 20,000, we're not quite sure how far we're going to get with that 20,000. We obviously want to make sure that there's a lot of community involvement in terms of the design and the concept. So that may chew up a good portion of that 20,000. And once that's done, then we have to go to the next step is that, okay, once we've got the design, concept squared away, okay, what are the engineering obstacles we need to accomplish and how are we going to resolve them? Now, obviously, some of those engineering obstacles can be put into a design build proposal, but we still need a professional to help us put together the design build proposal. And that would be for the 25,000 budget request for next year.
And Frank, I don't agree with the notes on this because I know that it's not correct, but it says the restroom, we're thinking 350 over 3 years. And then Anita put in notes, $15,000 for foot wash and 15,000 for soil survey data and engineer. And that is where I am.
No,
15.
I didn't put that in for this year. That I'm not sure where
Right.
that came from.
Left over from last year.
Yeah.
Right,
that-
so it's
Oh,
just,
okay.
so there's no foot wash into this project unless for some reason he engineers it to the side of the bathhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Right.
would be integral to the bathhouse, foot washer, outside
That's
shower.
what-
Do you have quotes for these 20,000 and 25,000?
No, we're just kind of going off of what we've spent, what we've talked about in the past and what we've used in the past. We really don't know. The 25,000 for this year, we're not quite sure whether that's enough or if it's too much because we haven't got the conceptual plan done. We have to get the conceptual plan done first in order to get to the next step. So that's what the 20,000 is for the conceptual. Now, we might be, very fortunate and run through a couple of different options. Everybody's on board. We get a conceptual plan done for, a very little amount of money. We can then use some carryover funds and start the engineering, or we may not. We don't know. We're just trying to work with what we can get and put some fairly reasonable numbers down on a piece of paper for everybody to look at.
Frank,
Obviously, we
can
get the
I ask,
conceptual done, and it looks like the engineering is going to be vastly more than 25,000. Then we would have to come back and for another appropriation or defer it to the following year.
Frank, I would think that we could take the conceptual plans that we had from before, which gives version A and version B, and at least start there with an engineer to say, this is what we had thought of years ago. Do you think either of these would work, or is there something better now?
Oh yeah,
I would certainly think that we should drag those back out because we've already paid for those.
most definitely. We've got a lot of information already put together. So let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's figure out what we've done. Does it still work? are there some modifications we have to do? And then let's take it from there. We have a good starting point.
Okay, so can I ask a question? Because I didn't realize this was, well, never mind.
Go ahead.
See you. So couldn't we, if you're gonna do a conceptual plan, I would assume this conceptual plan is gonna have a gazebo in it. Is that correct? Because it's
Yes.
going to be within, so why are we budgeting for a gazebo for next year when we won't even have the conceptual plan going?
Well,
I mean-
I didn't budget for a gazebo for next year.
Okay, so you didn't need to move it to this year.
I didn't put anything in for next year.
I don't see anything in,
The next line item.
Okay, so we can take that, so we can take the 18,000 out that
Yeah,
you budgeted.
Yeah.
Last year, we moved it a year out because we knew you weren't ready for it. Now we're
Right,
just gonna take it out.
We
And when
moved
you
it,
get your conceptual plan, we'll have it.
that's right. We'll just bundle it all together. That would be the
Got it.
wisest thing to do.
So there's 18,000 we've saved on that one. See, Fred, I can do it. Let's get it down.
Put in the notes, it was over there last year.
Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't request it this year because he didn't need.
I am a huge fan of doing something down at Soundview. I'm just really concerned that these numbers are very, to use the word, conceptual, and they're not really based off of any particular quote or discussion with a professional to like give us a ballpark of, yes, this is going to be around 20,000 and you should budget for that. I feel like we've gotten in a little bit of trouble with that scenario before with town projects. So I know that not approving that would put you way behind though. So I'm not sure. How does everyone else feel about this sort of roundabout pulled out of thin air number?
Which number are we?
The 20,000 and the 25,000.
Well,
For
20 is already
engineering.
approved.
Mhm.
20's in this year's
Right,
budget.
right. So like
Um,
another 25 just because it might be nice.
So Frank, the money we allocated for this current year, the 20,000, has anything been done?
No, we haven't had a meeting
Okay,
since then.
all right.
And by the way, that 20,000 was your suggestion, the Board of Finance's suggestion.
Okay,
So that's what we used the 20,000 because that was your suggestion.
so why couldn't we carry the 20,000 over for next year?
Right.
And wait till, I mean, I agree with Anna that conceptually, I would like people who want to have capital projects to come forward with a drawing, some concrete bid, quotes or bids or something, you know,
Well,
just to pull something out of thin air.
I did
seems-
provide that to you last year. I provided a wide variety of conceptual drawings and some cost estimates that were hard cost estimates from several years ago. So that was all provided last year.
And we budgeted the 20,000, but the project hasn't gone anywhere. So if we budget another 20,000, it's hard to justify that when the project hasn't spent the original 20.
But let me get a clearer understanding. The conceptual drawings are sort of the first step. That's what the architects do first.
Right.
And then the client says, yeah, I like those conceptual drawings, and the architect goes to the next step.
Right.
Have we, the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, approved the conceptual drawings yet?
there aren't any.
And-
No, because there
Darn, we
aren't
haven't-
any. The conceptual drawings I happened to find by fluke in a file, and
Oh, I thought Frank said he presented them to us last.
last year you had,
I did present those to you last year, yeah.
but they're not in this year's book.
Okay,
So we should have transferred over the material that he gave us last year. And we did not prepare that well for you because it was not understood that we were working from those same exact conceptual drawings. So we don't know. I'm more than willing to also call just to end Jacobson up, Nathan Jacobson tomorrow and say, what do you think an engineering cost is like for a bathhouse for a beach society, a beach little area? What would you think?
With
And get it-
using those conceptual drawings that you have.
I can do something with the conceptual drawings that we have, because I want you to understand that our board chairs are all volunteers to this town and they do the best they possibly can. And sometimes they have their own things with their own work, their lives,
course.
and they get delayed. And so this year, the 20,000 wasn't looked into. I know that Frank and Michaela worked very hard last year, working with the consultant, trying to get their survey of Sound View taken care of. So one step at a time, they're doing their best.
Which is great, and I'm not saying that, I just think we could move the 20,000 from last year into this year's
I
budget
think-
and you'd be
I
all
do,
set.
I do think you're gonna need more than 20,000, so maybe you put 5 in this year and then we'll have 25 total.
Well, we can't move that. Sorry.
We're going to.
We
you'll-
have 20,000 that's unspent from the current fiscal year, and we
Right.
have a request of 25,000 for the next fiscal year. So I think a question is, do we need 45,000 or is that more than we need?
And I just pulled up last year's file and it doesn't have a quote for what the conceptual. what it's going
He didn't
to
say it a quote, he said he had conceptual drawings.
He didn't
cost.
say
I have
that.
to draw. Then I can email them out to everybody.
Well, they're just saying, are they there? The drawings are there, the things that he provided.
So another suggestion would be, we got the 20 there, you carry it over. You give our volunteer committee time to do more work
Yeah.
and come back and say, geez, it's gonna cost us $35,000 to move the ball down the field, and we allocate what's necessary. And we put nothing in the budget for next year. They've got 20 sitting there that hasn't been spent. And we still don't know exactly what's gonna happen in Soundview with the sewers.
I agree.
So we're kind of in the same spot we were a year ago in that regard.
Only goes so fast.
I mean, I think
Well, that-
everybody said we're supportive of it, but you just putting another pile of money in there, not that it's a big one.
And
And
Frank,
I would recommend the 125 that we eliminate that as well.
Well,
That'd be my
Because I
recommendation.
mean, we have to go to town meeting and this would,
you're gonna have to go to town meeting for this project anyways, Frank.
Right.
It's not gonna fly with us unless you don't want to build it for 3 years.
I mean-
Not to mention you could get a grant for this because it's recreational.
It's recreational, it's shoreline, it's,
However,
got a whole
it
bunch
doesn't impact just the town of Old Lyme.
However it works, I mean, I just find that sometimes the grants, depending on what they are, I mean, if it's federal, like, that 350,000 can balloon astronomically.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to go Davis-Bacon, then, the numbers are just outrageous. So,
Frank, there are grants that come across my desk every single day. There's recreation and trails grants. There's all types of grants that are state run and appropriations from our senators for small things to big things. In fact, I just got it today that Murphy and Blumenthal's dates next week for me to sit in to see what they would like for congressional direct spending. So there are things, but we have to have the plan in place for them to go forward to ask for it.
well,
Yeah, I would say that plan
let's-
solid.
We'll finish
And then
the
we can
conceptual
go.
plan and then take it from there. If it looks like we finish the conceptual plan in 6 months and we want to go directly into engineering, we'll come back to you.
Okay. We'll have $20,000 to start with.
That sounds
I
like a
think I
plan.
have another point to be made, and that's that we're mixing our capital general fund budget and capital projects with capital projects funds and transfers out. And I'll give you a good example, the new vehicle at the animal shelter that we're apparently squirreling away money for on this schedule, but we're not going to need that money for 5 years. So if it costs 60 grand right now for a vehicle, just escalate that at 4% or whatever, but put it in year 5. And town halls, painting is another good example of what maybe should be in the building improvement fund as opposed to in capital, because capital in my mind is you're going to need it, but you need it in that fiscal year. You're not squirreling away cash through, because we had this issue forever with rollovers. And that's why we expanded the amount of capital project funds that we have.
Mhm.
So there's not so many of them, but there's enough that it makes sense to kind of rationalize that. So when I think about that, what we're talking about, Frank, with falls in that category as well. And if we think that we're going to start construction, because what this shows me is we're not going to start construction for a while. So if we know that, then let's squirrel away money in the capital improvements fund. And then we start spending in 28, 29, or at the end of 27, 28, but the cash is there and available. So I offer that as well. That's a little bit more work on this spreadsheet. And then we'll get to the actual capital projects funds transfers as well, transfers out, but transfers in, because I'm noticing that the roads, once again, is just $1 million for the next 5 years. And last year, that's where we discovered we were short by a big chunk of change. And I don't know what happened to those changes without reconciling last year's figures with this year's figures. So, but
That was your suggestion last year, was to put $1 million away a year.
well, I don't know. I'll check and see, but $1 million. I can't remember what the total
It's-
was.
Last year we were putting away, it was 800,000, and we did the math out that over the next 5 years, we were gonna need $5 million or something like that. And so we said, well, if we need $5 million over the next 5 years, we need to be putting $1 million a year away.
I think
Yeah. But I remember bigger numbers, and again, without reconciling it, I'm not gonna do it from memory right now, but we had one big year in.
Mile Creek.
Mile
Now,
Creek,
one
and we
big
have,
year, like $2.6 million.
Yeah. and we
So,
have 4 Mile River Road coming.
yeah,
Yep. And
That's a
Button
big
Ball's coming too.
yeah.
4 Mile River is one of the longest roads,
Well,
longest town road.
so, I mean, Dave is raising the question whether the $1 million is the right number to be putting in every year.
Right.
And we have to, go to Ed Adante. If we're not confident that that's the right number, it should revisit it with us, right?
Well, we had for a long time, the road schedule that was a perennial
We have it.
thorn in people's side. So we know what that is. We know what it was last year because we had some confidence in it at that point. So if it's been updated, that would be great to take a look at
We
and see
update-
whether,
Ed updated it this year because he found that there were some problems with some roads, and so he moved some things around according to the needs of the roads. So this year, we're going out to bid. Our bid opening is, I believe, March 20th. It's a Thursday.
I don't want to get ahead of
I'm
ourselves.
just saying, I'm just letting you know that we'll know. No, it's got to be the 12th or the 19th, 12th. I think it's the 12th or 19th. It's on a Thursday. We have the bid opening, but it's basically Flat Rock, Hatchetts Hill, Hawthorne, those roads that are off of Hatchetts Hill, and this second part of Browns Lane.
Yeah,
And an estimate out there that was there was $733,000. For.
was
we
that
finish
last
selling
year
the
or this year or?
Roads, but we finished it.
Again, the spreadsheet exists,
But,
so.
But Ed still had to do it on two, he has. They did
Yeah.
it, but it's $733,000.
But
So-
that's not the roads we're doing.
Right, that's what I sent you, that's what he gave me.
Okay, so that's not helpful.
Yeah,
not
but I
helpful like
think
this.
Not on
the,
roads right now.
the issue, Dave has raised the question whether $1,000 for roads every year is the right number. When we've gone out to bid and gotten new numbers, we should revisit that. And hopefully before the budget is finalized, we can tinker
I
with
think
it.
our budget
if
last,
necessary.
our ending of bid last year was 460,000 for all the roads we did.
Whatever.
But
it
I
was.
think-
Yeah.
For
I
a
think
single
the-
year, it's for the time period going forward. But to Anna's request that we go back to Soundview and to Dave, your question about the 125,000. Whether that should be an appropriation in the budget or whether we should put that into a fund. You know, a Soundview.
Which is part of the budget as well. It's
No, I understand that, and that's a perfectly good question, but I thought people were saying before, it's too uncertain at this point to allocate any money. They'd rather just wait until we have a project. And if the project is $350,000, we put that in the budget in 3 years. I'm not saying that I agree that that's the right way to do it, but that's the question. In other words, should we begin to fund that future project, even though we don't know its dimensions, we know it's going to be a few $100,000 probably. So should we start funding it or not?
I'm just dialing in because I know when Frank goes off, I'm not gonna have a person.
Maybe you shouldn't fund it, you know, that you have the plans in place and.
Well, and what are the pros and cons of funding it, right? So the pros and cons of funding something is that it mitigates the big hit to the tax rate in 1 year. It's spent it over a period of years. The bad news is people have to start paying it today.
Well,
This conversation, I mean, we morphed to talk about roads, which are $1 million projects, and this is $100,000 project. I don't think a hit of $100,000 to
Well,
this budget is
Well,
significant
it's
enough to warrant.
it's a $350,000 project, which if you've gotten any quotes on construction lately, may or may not be
Yeah.
a good number, especially when it involves plumbing.
I think our transfer
but I-
station building cost us $250,000 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
that is a lot simpler
Yeah.
than.
I
what
mean,
we've
your
been talking about.
BOMA, the builders inflation index is 6 to 8%.
Right.
So you could look at 3%, 2.5 or whatever it is, but that's not
Yeah.
what the costs for construction are. So
I mean,
But I
I'm
think
kind of agnostic on it, and I think that our capital expenditures in our budget this year is going to be significantly increased over last year, Martha. Is that your
Yes.
sense? So, this isn't a perfect year to add to the budget.
Yeah.
Whether it goes into a fund or not. So I'm really kind of ambivalent.
I also think just, if the voters decide they don't want to do this project after looking at whatever the total cost is, and we've already allocated $125,000 for it somewhere, that might not be the best way to go about this. So I would like to see the full project cost. I mean, we just took a gazebo out because that's going to go back in at some point. It would just be nice to see a whole project and then fund that appropriately. And I understand like breaking that fund up. And if we had that cost in front of us right now, I think that would be great. We could totally do that and include it next year, but we don't. So I don't like the idea of just, making assumptions that things are going to be passed and that there are going to be certain costs when we really aren't sure.
May I,
my
may I-
other
may I
question-
say something? I'm sorry. That 350,000 just didn't get pulled out of the air. That was based on real numbers that I provided last year. So it was based on some factual information. So that's where that came from. It just wasn't, something we think it would be about 350,000. It was based on information we had from previous years in terms of, designs and structures and types of plumbing and things of that nature. And at that time, the cost for composting toilets was about the same as sewers. So it was a little different. The only difference was landscaping and topography. Composting toilets, you have to actually build up a hill so the thing sits on top of it. So that's the difference. But so that 350 did come from real numbers.
Okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed to sort of a good faith investment in a capital improvement fund for investment in Soundview. Even if, because we know at this point we intend to do something, and that it's going to be expensive.
So let's see when Martha can say it.
The other question I have, and Frank, I think you can answer this one, is the speed humps cost. So we
Yeah.
have $15,000 budgeted this year. And then in your regular budget, you have money to install them and remove them and whatnot. But they have, that 15,000 hasn't been spent yet. Are you anticipating purchasing those between now and the end of the
Yeah,
fiscal year?
they'll be there for, I didn't want to in the fall and have them sitting in the parking lot for that long, so we just figured we'd order them in the spring.
Okay, all right. Great.
So Martha, let's get back to the rest of them. Has the Board of Selectmen decided that it supports a $350,000 restroom in Soundview?
We voted on this budget to send it to you. As far as we're concerned, we continue to spend about 20,000 per year on bathrooms now and cleanup from bathrooms. So you can spend that over the course of the number of years that we've done it. You've already paid for 3 bathrooms over the course of all the time you've rented. What we're saying is, yes, we see other towns that have put together composting toilets or whatever
Right.
that have worked very well and have lasted them for years. We
So-
would like to see a design concept and improve Soundview.
So I think since the Board of Selectmen supports this, we don't know what the precise plans of the bathroom are going to be, but we do know it's going to be a few $100,000. So we might as well start funding it now, would be my view.
Well, maybe we bifurcate it. And we've got 45 for design in the capital budget this year. And then for the capital project funds, we fund 125 this year.
Right.
And then the remainder, so it comes off of,
No, I agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's an accounting question, not an appropriation question. Right?
Yeah, but it's equally important if we're gonna complete the work.
No. I'm saying we're still gonna raise $125,000 from the taxpayers. We're just gonna put it into the fund.
But we're not doing the full 350 is what I'm
Correct.
saying.
No,
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
And we don't have to fund the fund the same amount every year. And I'm imagining that as the plans emerge and we become more confident that it's actually going to happen and we have a better idea of what it's actually going to cost, we can put in maybe 100,000 this year and 150 and sort of award that project more money as they become more robust and increase our confidence that they're actually going to deliver something.
we just don't want to go back to rollovers.
Right.
That was just a nightmare. So,
So you're saying you put the 25 back in?
No, that we're saying the 125,000, I think we're going to approve it, but we want to put it into a special Soundview
So
fund.
No, you would put it into, capital, they don't have a Soundview fund. There is a
Projects.
townwide building improvements fund that's capital, that's core, and it's for townwide.
Okay,
And that one has our HVAC right now and then other stuff, 18, the fund 18, that's public building, that's more about repairs.
yeah,
4 is the capital improvements fund, so that would be the, if you're going to put money in, because it's go all buildings townwide. And that's gonna be a building.
all righty.
Okay.
Do we have a list of these funds somewhere in front of us that I can?
It's,
Well, right up there.
and it's this big one.
So currently, I have
There you
15
go.
contracts with.
starting right there.
Oh, yeah, got it.
The ending right there.
Yep,
For now.
okay. Then to move on, we gotta move forward. What did we decide about the Soundview engineer? We have 20,000 from this year. And were we going to strike the 25,000 for the next fiscal year?
Yeah, we're gonna carry over the 20 from last year into this year so that they have that to spend on the
Okay,
engineers.
so the changes that on the budget are,
What both of you are saying differently.
say what?
No, we're moving the 20,000 that they have from this year
Yeah,
into next year.
and we're moving the 25 that's in there. Okay.
We're deleting the
Deleting
25.
the 25.
Okay.
So that
We're
they still
deleting the
have a budget
25.
for next year, but
It'll be a carryover.
It'll be a
revenue.
carryover.
And the 125 we're moving to,
over to the fund.
to
number
the
four.
fund, to fund
And
number
the
four.
18,000 for the gazebo, we're
That's gone
It's
completely.
gone.
deleted.
That's incorporated, that's
So
done.
that's gonna be
Correct.
part of the 350 eventually.
Frank's gonna build it by himself, right, Frank?
Yeah, before I die, huh?
The one from
So
White
I just want to
Sands.
make.
And this is, yeah, this is different than the White Sands one, which is
Yeah.
the
So,
bomb
The
shelter.
old one.
Okay, what else can we take away?
I think that's probably enough, but what number does that leave us with here, Anita?
Well, do we have any others before you get
Yeah,
the
let's-
numbers?
Oh, I'm just talking about the general government.
Cause there's just a lot of stuff
Okay.
in here.
Yeah, we can keep going. I have a question way down below, Martha, about the body cameras for the police that we're funding over a period of years. What's the law on that? Was there a deadline by which we had to have our police outfitted with body cameras?
They are outfitted, I believe. These are new
These are new,
ones that
yeah.
will, the state police are going to this brand,
Axon,
Axon.
and
And whether we are still able to stay with the state police for them to download it or
Hmm.
have to do it ourselves, this is the standard camera that everybody's going to.
Right, so you're saying the police have the cameras today and we're legally compliant,
Right.
that this
As
would be an evolution from the existing camera.
far as I know.
Which I feel like is gonna happen all the time now that we have to have them, so.
it is, I'm trying, where we shifted to? Public safety? No.
Yeah, we're down under the
Yeah, we're down
request.
Oh, I'm way
You
down.
guys would go down
Yeah.
the page instead of just jumping all over the place because it really doesn't make for much sense. All right, so.
Well, do you wanna stay in general government and just?
I want to just know if there's any more questions for general government, and then I'll be more than happy to take other hits for all the other departments.
And maybe this is someplace else in here and I just haven't been able to find it. Haynes Park. There was discussion about a playground at some point in time,
It's there.
but where is that in the budget? Did we pay for it
Playground's
already?
Been paid for.
And how did that get paid for?
Well,
Sitting in the-
we had already had this discussion one time where it was not really appropriately bidded out
Right.
because it had been quoted years ago and the person held the quote for us for like 5 years and then they purchased it.
But how is it being paid for? Like, my question is that was this year that happened?
On August 7th, the Park and Rec Commission voted to initiate this project not to exceed $75,000. And it's not clear where $75,000 is going to come from.
Where is that in here?
It's already been paid for, Candace. It's not where it came from. Nita, they've already paid for the playground. It was paid for.
Money is.
And is that just the equipment or did that include all of the installation fees?
And we said that we could help with some of the mulch and things to lower well, I said that and then I talked to the installer and he said, it's not gonna save you any money. It'll be the same by the time you buy the mulch and you do what you have to do. He said, it'll go faster if we just do it.
Okay, so what is left in Haynes Park to keep working? I feel like we keep hearing chunks of Haynes Park, but we have no line items for it.
It's here.
It depends on which one we are.
Dredging is here.
Park and Rec, currently have 169,000 and that is fund 26, that is not on, that is on the monthly.
Right. Okay.
In that money, but also they had a Haynes Park, there's approximately $50,000 sitting in our miscellaneous fund. That was a fundraiser that is allotted to Haynes Park and Haynes Park alone.
But is that for the playground?
It was a fundraiser they did here. I'm pulling the money until someone's like to do it.
Well,
Candace was on that committee. It was for the
The,
Haynes Park
um,
beautification.
It was very loosely defined, unfortunately, and it's for enhancement of Haynes Park. So
Not like routine maintenance, like
excuse me,
replacing.
I personally interpret enhancement as new improved things, not just replacing existing broken down things. And if you look at the PowerPoint that the Haynes Park Enhancement Committee put together 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, they also agreed with that philosophy and did not think that the $53,000 donation fund would go towards the playset. But at this point, I'm not willing to die on that hill. I would just be interested to know how $75,000 was spent in Haynes Park. And
I don't believe it was 75,000.
It's not, it's sitting in that 169 Haynes Park playground, replacement was given 60,000, the expansion of the fence installation was 20,000, and it's, the whole 80,000 is still sitting in that fund of the 169,000. That's in
They're
that.
not doing the fence.
they're not doing the
The
fence.
fence is,
Then they have to reallocate the money elsewhere, but right now
Right.
it's earmarked 20,000 for the fence.
So the reason I think this project
Fence
cost
died years ago.
$75,000 is because there was a meeting on August 7th where the commission approved $75,000 for this project. And they instructed Sarah Van Vliet to go and take the town credit card and spend it.
So
And
then,
you can hear that in the meeting
I'm
on
just
August 7th.
concerned that we're gonna find a,
I don't think we paid for it on the
Credit
town
line.
credit
right
card.
here, it's have an additional 30,000, Haynes Park improvement plan, there's 30,000 given. So really and truly, it's the 60,000, it's 30,000, and there's still the 20,000 allocated for the fence. For Haynes Park,
and this is just sitting in a
The
fund.
fence is gone.
but they have to tell me.
They did. In a meeting, they said the fence is gone. I don't
Do
know
we
who's
need to
supposed
do something to move that money back, though?
I don't know what.
Say it is.
I think that we should have a conversation with Mr. Dunn, who is not in town right now. So I think that we need to get to your capital budget.
Well,
Let's
that's what
get
I'm
to-
concerned with, that we're gonna end up with something else in the capital budget that's like not here because this is this mysterious thing.
Okay. That time.
What's the status of the playground? I remember the order was placed for the materials, right?
Not
We
in,
had, and we mentioned this at a Board of Finance.
Yeah,
meeting
they
prior
placed the
to-
order. But you think it hasn't been delivered and installed? I haven't been to.
Not right now. There's 18 inches of snow out there. No, there's no playground out there. I have no idea what the status is. I don't know if they've done any site work.
Mhm.
I've asked for a plan to see how it is to integrate into the other plans for the park. I've never seen a plan. Now, we were here before when we saw a plan for the docks for, $5,000 docks. You had plans, but not for $75,000.
Yeah, no, my recollection, which is fuzzy, is that the Parks and Rec Commission did not follow proper procedure
No, they did not.
with respect to the playground, but nevertheless, they had already placed the order and we didn't, we
And I had-
perhaps couldn't and certainly didn't try to have that rescinded.
that was my only question, was like, do we need to add a one-time fee to get this thing installed?
I do not believe you do, because I already had that conversation way back when.
Okay, Martha, I'm just
I know.
asking a question,
I know,
so
but
it's a
I'm
yes or
just-
no answer.
I'd have to go back to the minutes, but I did come back to you and I went and reviewed this in our minutes at one point, because I did go and sit with Don. We had a conversation with the vendor and we went through it and I explained to the vendor what had happened and explained to him that I wasn't trying to cancel the order, but I needed to know what all of this entailed. And I got a breakdown and I came back to you at the next meeting and went through it with you at that point in time, what had transpired.
Who's you? Is it that Board of Finance?
Yes.
I don't recall that discussion at all.
I don't either.
I don't remember that.
You asked me to go and have a conversation with Don, and we did. We sat in my office and talked to the vendor on the phone together. Don was right next to me.
So this conversation in your office, I was not present and none of us were present. Is that
No.
correct?
But I came back and reported that I did have the conversation and what the outcome was. I'll go back and look.
I'm not concerned with that. I'm literally asking just for right now, just to make sure we didn't need an extra, but it sounds like we don't. So we're all set. That was the question and that's the answer.
Okay. So let's continue to look at this sheet and raise any questions.
the opaque emergency management group.
Say what?
That's
The
an awesome name.
opaque emergency management group. We had $130,000 last year, 150 requested this year, 120 next year, at the top of page 2. And then it's all non-reimbursable, it's,
Oh,
I guess
I was
we are-
still, I was back at animal
I
control.
wish we
under
could finish
public
one page at a
safety on
time.
Page 1.
apologies.
Cause sort of to your same new point, we're not getting a new vehicle for animal control for $12,000. So is that something that should be going into a fund because we know we're gonna need to replace a vehicle?
Well, I think we're saving up over 5 years for a total
Right.
of 60.
Right, so the same idea in avoiding carryovers, should that be going into a fund as opposed to being in the
For
capital
current-
outlay?
As you can see in
David's
the,
point, there's
Yeah,
a whole
that's-
subset of things that go into that fund.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just raising that to fall into that category.
Anita, what do you think? We're funding a $60,000 automobile for the animal control center. Should that be a fund? Is there a fund that we should be putting that
Well,
money into?
The fund that we use, and as you can see, is, the 12,005 is there for the fence, and then you see it coming out the negative. That's because right now, anything for animal control, we can take it out of the dog fund.
Right.
So that's Fund 11, so if there's money in the dog fund, we can use that money to pay for items for the animal control.
no, but not for the vehicle.
For the vehicle.
That's-
You can do it to improve the building.
Right, it's all to do with the building and the fence, so.
I don't think she keeps that tails there.
You have to,
Not having fund that we put money in.
I don't wanna know.
So it's either you do the carryovers or maybe
Yeah,
you put it in 5 years just for the full amount.
Right, we can't,
But there isn't a just.
we can't deposit into the dog fund. Like we can't,
Well,
no,
now.
And you can't buy vehicles
Because I
out
have
of the
to
dog
do your
fund.
That's
report on-
no, that's state,
okay,
no.
Yeah, I know.
but we could create a new fund. We can
We can
create new
a
funds.
fund
Town
that's
vehicle
called
fund.
Yeah, it just seems to me if we're saving up for something over a period of years, we need a fund to capture that, to
Right.
accumulate that money.
But, and the other part is $50,000 or 60 in 1 year really is that much.
Absolutely. So it's either put it into a fund or not fund
Or
it at
just
all.
know that we're gonna have to buy a vehicle in 5 years.
I think
Well,
that's,
keep it
that's,
in-
well, that's not to deal with carryovers.
right. I mean, put it in capital outlay. We now have the 5-year spreadsheet. So, you know, in 3031, there should be a $60,000 item under animal control new vehicle
I can do
instead of
that.
having $12,000 over the next.
Or grossed up.
We were trying to
Right.
work something more and maybe because it's 60, but we were trying to work more towards the way that we do with the fire department and the vehicles there.
Yeah, but their vehicles are they're $1 million vehicles, not
Might be
60,000.
2 and 5 years, you never know.
Could be.
Right?
These dogs get picky.
Okay, it's moved.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, yeah.
Any questions on fire department? Capital?
Air packs went up a lot.
Well,
Is that-
I think that 27.6 will be carried
So they
over,
Carried
or
over.
its number of packs that they age out,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it might be fewer packs that have to be replaced.
Okay.
And they've applied for a grant for that, so we may not have to spend all or any of it. Emergency management's here, Dave, too. If you look down, there's $150,000 just below the
That's what he was looking.
fire. Oh, you were looking at the back. Now, were you at the next page or?
I'm on the next page.
No,
You're on
because
page
it's 150
3
on the
of
first page too.
Stapled.
Yeah, this is where the question, yeah, this is the communications upgrade for more radios.
Colors are
We've been
different.
doing this forever.
26,
It's not stapled.
27.
It's not
So it's the
stapled.
single page.
Is this the final year of that?
No, I don't think so.
Which page we on?
Oh, it's got a yellow, bright yellow.
It's
That's
got
a
a yellow
bright yellow
stripe.
column. This one.
There you go.
But are you guys on a different page than this capital?
Back to.
No, that's where we
No,
are.
you're on the same page.
Back on the single.
The single page, the
Almost to the
thing that was
bottom.
in front was just the one for here.
That's
Right.
okay.
And that's just the capital outlay. That's the 300
Yeah,
capital
It's the
outlay.
same, I think it's the
150.
same numbers as the one you were looking at.
yeah,
It's just missing all those other columns.
right, 736, 691.
So this 150, the request, it says it's
This is.
replenishment of the $30,000 that we took away last year, but that was because it wasn't reimbursable.
Right, this 150 is not reimbursable either. The 120 that's in his budget now, that's the bill zone, that's.
In the operating budget.
This 150 originally he told me was reimbursable when I asked him, I said, so they're gonna give us 270 back. He said, no. So this 150 would be town money, not Millstone.
So, and I know he's explained this to us before. Is this now just a recurring annual cost? I mean, we've spent money on radios, on this upgrade over the last, or is this the same idea where we're transferring or we're carrying over money to?
No,
I'm
this
just-
is him still buying radio.
Still
my
buying.
Original packet that is for the emergency management and.
This was because of the
Original
upgrade.
radios.
This was the upgrade though, wasn't this?
Yeah.
There was like a big communications
Second one, we
change.
did Essex and then. we did
Yes.
Something different.
Exactly. And then something else happened
They had some
here.
ordering issues. They ordered, but
Yes.
it didn't come in. There was a delay from
I
the
don't know.
vendor.
But we knew this was gonna be like a 4 or 5 year commitment to doing this. So is this our final year of this?
No, next year is
He would have
120.
120 next year, so.
Oh, so we're not done.
So we've spent $600,000 on
Radios?
radios?
Or is this
It's-
more than
it's-
just
it's-
radios?
It's repeater towers.
Yeah, it was more. It was
It's more than that. And it's to get all our EMS, fire, police, and public works on the same frequencies along with state police. I mean, this
And there
goes
was-
back to,
where there were some dead zones, right? Where
Yeah.
certain, if
Okay.
you went into certain areas of Old
Yeah.
Lyme
Yeah.
between
Okay.
little
That's
that's what,
hills.
as-
The conversation's
Exactly
coming
where they
back
are.
to me.
And by the way,
You
this-
couldn't get them.
and this proved very helpful during the last storm.
Yeah.
They were.
So
all
this
on the
is
same- Yeah.
true capital that we're buying more equipment every year. It's not that we're accumulating the funds up for some
Or
big.
for a
purchase.
big
It was carried over, but that was because of the shortage.
Okay.
There's a shortage of equipment due to supply chain.
So is that why he hasn't spent 130 this year? And we're only at 4,800? Any,
There should be ordered,
There, it's very well that the order is in, but because we have not received them,
we can't.
we can't pay for them.
Okay, okay.
So
And
I
that's
believe,
all.
that is my understanding. The order is in, we have not received.
and it's all because of everything going on in the world.
I mean, perhaps at some point after this budget season, it'd be helpful for us to have, because this is a major project that's been ongoing,
Yeah.
is to get an update as to where we started, where we are now, and when do we get to the end? What's needed to be done?
Yeah.
I mean, this has been going on for 10 years, really.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it honestly started after 9/11 when when there were communication issues in New York because the services couldn't communicate with each other, fire, police in New York. And it kind of rolled out to communities like this that you need to be able to set up so that your
and then
town services can,
re-upped it.
Yeah.
If you remember.
right.
Andy, are you saying you did it after 9/11 and then started again in 22 and 23?
I think
Because
so.
That's what,
This is I think we did something then, and I think
now
You're
they,
right. 'Cause
There's-
see, when he did this initial presentation, it was because they were trying to get everybody now on the same systems, but there are these spots between Essex and Old Lyme.
we were on the same systems. A lot of them were on the same systems, but then the radios went from analog to digital.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the dead spots come into play there because analog and digital behave differently with terrain. And so that's what adds to the price tag when you have to put repeater antennas in different locations. They built one at Public Works. There's a tower there at Public Works that's partially to serve, that we paid for. That happened 8 years ago, 9 years ago, maybe 10. I don't know. A long time ago. It's been a couple different iterations of this in the 20-something years I've been on the Board of Finance, but
Like
it is a real thing. The technology's changed.
Yeah.
And you got to stick with it. I'm amazed that there aren't grants out there for it. Maybe not now, but maybe a year or two ago, there might have been. I don't know. But I think we don't need it now. I think we got to allocate the money to keep the ball rolling. But I think it'd be helpful for us and maybe the Board of Selectmen. What have we done? What are we going to do in the next 2 years, or what are we going to need in the next 5 years to get this done? And then we're probably going to have to do it over again because technology will change again. I don't know.
Well, and if there's shortages going on, if they know the timeline of the shortages, because if they're not going to be available to order, then we should postpone putting the money in the budget because they're not going to be able to spend it on anything.
Although
You may not know
when he
unless you
orders
took
it,
order it. You got the
it's
money to
the
order it.
cost.
You
You
got
get
the money in
this
hand to
cost
order it.
versus that cost.
And
if
your
you order
cost
it.
could go up
Yeah.
if
We
you don't place the
want Dave
order.
placing orders for money he doesn't have budgeted or anybody else.
Yes. Okay, good.
So again, last call for any questions on this page.
Well, now we're on page 3, right?
I'm on
Well,
page
we're still
1
on
on
this-
capital.
This-
Are you working on, you're working on the single sheet?
So
We're
I'm
halfway
on
down
total
page
capital
2.
expenditures.
I'm
Well, this gets to
I'm
the
on the
bottom of
doubles.
this.
You're on the doubles?
It's
It's the
one-
same thing.
I'm still on the single page
You're on the single page.
with the
Yeah,
yellow
because I don't
stripe. I got a
think
question
It's all
down
moved.
under police, replace 1991 generator
I know.
per,
Where are you now, Andy?
I'm under police. It's like the fourth line item up
The
from the
bottom
bottom.
Says request.
The
on right.
generator
Yep.
generator.
says request.
Yes. Those are the cameras.
No, those I'm fine with. I'm fine with the cameras. I'm fine with the tasers. I'm fine with the new computers. Cause that is a real thing.
Mhm.
The 1991 generator per who?
Eric Golson.
Okay,
That's Eric trying to let you know that the generator need to be replaced.
okay.
It's 1991.
And then below that, it says 1980.
That's the
Underground
underground
propane.
propane tanks.
Needs to be pulled and replaced.
That probably feeds the
And-
generator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he pulling the tank to replace the tank? I would think
Yes,
1980 and $8,000 is what we think is gonna cover that.
2 years.
Okay.
Wait, yes,
It doesn't.
yes, facilities request. Eric, it's probably in your book. It's under there's probably backup because Eric gives you backup for everything. So if you go to your backup,
I didn't look at that, so
they have it.
sorry.
Oh, they can have it, yeah.
Tank.
And capital.
You gotta
2 years
pull-
ago.
you gotta pull this one out.
No, I know, but I think it was $5,000, maybe.
So Anita,
Costs more to take it out
the
than put
budget
it
for
in.
26/7 on this page is 736,695. Have you recalculated that?
Yeah, so give it to you when we're.
Fire department, explain. Eric works through all this with me. Quotes for the cameras, tasers, the Axon, the cleats, the Axon, the Motorola. So,
Okay, it's.
sorry. Like that. Here's a sheet for each department, police department,
Axon, Motorola is behind that.
police department page. Here's a quote from Zelik for the generator for 20,000. And he has a quote for the the generator for the underground propane tank is $8,000.
A total of 8 or is it 16?
620, 28.
20
it's
for the
both.
generator and 8 for the
You go to your
propane
back
tank.
page, you have a whole
Okay,
sheet
I'm
from Eric.
Sticking to
that-
the sheets we got tonight.
I know, but this is
is
Eric's
backup.
backup data. So he goes, he has it for every building, what his
Right.
capitals are.
Good.
And he goes and gets his quotes from all of his people.
It says right under it, tank cost based on 2020 senior center.
Oh, they're not cheap.
1,000 gallon.
Tank,
tank
1,000
install.
gallon tank install. So it's it says that number's based on the 2020 number for the senior center.
And was that senior center tank install a new installation or was that a replacement in 2020? Anybody know? Because if it was a
What sheet is
replace,
on now?
I think that was above.
Years ago.
I'm looking at his backup.
Looking at his backup sheet.
For that building?
For this, no,
Those are
for,
above ground, aren't they?
We're talking about.
it
oh,
says it's a 1980 underground propane tank and that's gotta get replaced. And he said in here, the tank cost is based on the 2020 senior center 1,000 gallon tank install. Is the 1,000 gallon tank, I'm assuming that's an underground tank if it's 1,000 gallons, was that a replacement or was that a new install? Does anyone know?
Well, I wasn't around in 2020, so I don't know.
Because if it's a replacement, there's also going to be, which is
I'm-
what we found out up at,
I'm more worried about the 2020 isn't 2020. It was more like 2025 or 24 when we built the center
Yeah.
and we missed a number because they did so much with, as far as heating at the center when we renovated it. So I'm not sure if the 2020 is incorrect.
well, I'm just worried that we're not including all of the environmental that you're gonna need in there, because if you're taking out a 1980 underground tank, you're going to need to do all of that soil and water testing.
Is propane the same as,
Yeah, it's gonna be treated exactly the
Okay.
same.
I don't want to guess. We
I
would
wouldn't
got
guess
the
either,
numbers.
but just so you know.
I'll put it on.
We can always add that in again. We can approve it tonight for what it is,
I mean,
but if-
it is,
just so you know.
Thank you. I wouldn't have thought of that at all.
Right, so we're gonna leave this number alone for tonight, but Mark was gonna check with Eric and have him revisit it.
The new number for the general fund capital, 556,695.
596695.
556,695.
And that replaces the 736,695.
Yes.
Okay.
And just to make sure you did what my notes indicate, you took the 125,000 for the sound view, and moved it.
These 2 pages go.
you deleted the sound view engineer and the sound view gazebo replacement,
Yes,
and you moved the animal control 12,000 into a fund.
correct. No, it's just the
No, we're gonna-
12,000 we moved out, we put
We're gonna
in
buy it.
60,000 and 3031.
So we just deleted it entirely.
So it got moved out to 30.
Got it.
31.
So
Or
what's the
whatever-
number?
Yeah, 3031, whatever the
What's the
last
number?
year we had 12 grand.
It is 556,695.
I'm sorry, 596?
55.
556, okay.
695.
I'll make the motion for total capital expenditures of 556,695.
Second.
Yeah, Anna seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Got it. And now we want transfers out.
Well, capital project funds, we may have some changes, right? Because of sound view.
Yep.
Right, so, you can either look at the bottom part of the long capital, or you can look at your book, there'll be just a couple of minor differences.
What's the long capital?
Currently, we have the $1 million that was discussed for roads.
but nothing updated for 3031. So that's.
Wait,
just
where?
a
Where-
correction.
Where are we?
Hate this.
Right, nothing was put out there because when we discussed this last year, we put it out for 5 years, so we didn't discuss what to put in for that. So we did.
I don't know, this is transfers out, I'm not sure
We
where
didn't discuss what to do after.
this is.
We,
Just gonna.
I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds
roads
like Ed has
actuals.
made changes to
Yeah.
what the road plan is, so it would be good to look at what the plan for
Right.
roads
So
is.
reevaluate. Go what we're gonna move forward.
He's
Right.
been a little busy the last 2 weeks,
Oh, I know.
so he hasn't come in to sit down and do a
Um,
long conversation.
Just we changed that number last year based on what was upcoming in the next 5 years. So if that plan has changed, it would be good to reevaluate those numbers.
So what page should we be looking at, Anita?
It's, well, either way, you can either use the one.
Well,
that
let's just
you-
pick-
Are we just talking about transfers out now?
Yeah, we're on transfers or the bottom of that long sheet I gave you, all the numbers are there as well. It's in both.
Okay. And transfers out for anybody who might be a new member means really a transfer from the general fund, out of the general fund into a special fund.
And the special funds are the ones that I give you the reports, I give you a separate spreadsheet.
Right,
And there are other funds that aren't listed here. So not all the funds are listed, is that
So these
correct?
are just ones that are getting transferred out.
Okay,
I give you the monthly reports and how much money is in all the other. This some of them are the revenue generated funds, other ones are.
okay,
So
thank you.
Fund 4, the second fund, is the one where we're talking about the money that we took out of the capital outlay.
Correct.
First
And then 125, so it's now 140,000.
And which fund is that?
Fund
Fund
4.
4.
I know, but
You
they're
say
not
Fund
listed
4,
on
they're not-
here as Fund 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
it's on this one. This one is, it's over here.
Okay,
Sheet
hold
we
on.
got tonight.
Second sheet, you gotta go to page 3, half, about 2/3 of the way down.
Building improvements.
3,
so
They're
Anita,
there.
you quoted
They're
a
there.
number.
I got it.
140.
Got it, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna number it
Currently
over
says
here so
15.
that I know
Yeah, where
what
it says
numbers we're
15, that's
talking
now
about.
gonna be 140.
Oh.
We're adding the 125 for the white, the
Fund
Soundview,
Starts with
Charlotte's.
Yep.
Why aren't these
I don't see
important?
something more for.
because this isn't capital, this is capital, this one is
Oh,
capital
sorry.
expenditures.
I'm not,
What do you mean?
I'm just looking at this. This is the transfers
Oh, you're
out and they're not in order.
What is goes in the computer. That's the
nice,
way it
but-
goes in the
okay.
computer.
I mean, I'm,
You got it. Thank you.
okay, but
Thank you.
it would
That
just.
was the way the account number
Yeah, I know.
were added.
Okay, so the building improvements fund is going up by $25,000.
And that
Hundred.
includes,
No,
125,000.
so that
that
includes the
makes it
Soundview
140.
restroom, right?
Yes, so now,
Yeah,
Right, it's the green color.
okay, so that's at 140, is that what we just said? Okay.
I mean, I know Ed's not here, but I know when he was here, was that last week?
Yes,
He did say, not really as part of the meeting, he did make comment that the roads are taking a beating.
this year, yeah.
Of course, you know, I think we can all see it. We haven't had it this cold for this long a period of time. We haven't had this many storms, so we may want to look at, again, he's not here, but changing that $1 million for next year. I don't know, to 1.2, and you know what? Oil prices are going up, so that means asphalt's going to cost more. At least they're going up right now. So,
But we're not buying
yeah,
it
so
right now.
I do think that's another thing we should revisit. We'll approve numbers tonight, but let's have Ed revisit the funding schedule for.
Well, you'll
roads
have a better idea of what we're gonna be paying per
After you get the,
linear foot in a few 2 weeks' time. And we can readjust before you do your final calculations, and see how that price compares to last year's price. So
Right
we're-
now, that fund has $860,000 in it right now.
So that's the price you get that you can work with for this coming year.
Yes, it will,
What's the number?
we've gone out to bid, we'll open them and then they'll do the roads. Well, these roads won't be at the shoreline, so they can be done anytime after July 1st. So he'll have them come in and he'll get them scheduled for the 26, 27.
Martha, I don't remember, and I may just have been asleep, a discussion about the Haynes Park dredging. I remember discussions regarding the feasibility of it, but not that the Board of Selectmen decided to appropriate money to do it.
Well, the dredging for Haynes Park, we did have a conversation about that with Park and Rec when they came up and we were upstairs in the mezzanine room. But the swimming area is just basically silted in and you can wander out there for a long time before you can get really wet. And so they've talked about this for years. I believe last year they put some money in and we took it out. But the dredging project is probably going to, although Mr. Dunn thinks we can get it done for much cheaper. We had 2 quotes last year. One was for like 30,000 and another was for 900,000.
So 400 somewhere.
So what?
Did I see 400 somewhere?
Yes, it's on here.
Oh, yeah, that's what I-
So Mr. Dunn thinks 400 is more reasonable than the 900, but he does not have a quote from the dredging. He has to go through, he's gonna have to go through a hydrographic survey. He has to go through an environmental study to see how they will, before Deep is gonna give us a permit. He's gonna have to go through a permitting process. And I have explained this all to him, that you can't just clump it all together and get dredging taken care of for 400,000. This is a process. It's not going to take 1 year. And it is certainly not going to come in at $400,000.
When the Board of Selectmen discussed this with the Park and Rec Commission on August 18th, I think you were pretty unanimous in asking them for some sort of site plan so that we could have an understanding of the scope of this project. And I still have not seen a site plan.
This is
So,
for
I
dredging
think-
of a water area. This isn't a site plan for the park.
But wouldn't a site plan describe the area that needs to be dredged?
Well, you have to, really and truly, I believe that you would have to have an engineer come in and explain what area they're talking about to do some work on it. So I think an engineer has to start this,
Maybe so.
because someone who understands the dynamics of a lake, they go at it more with, we'd like this, we'd like this, we'd like this.
We agree. I
And-
think we're agreeing.
Yeah,
I would,
and-
I think any number we talk about without knowing the scope of this project, we don't have an engineer who tells us how deep, how wide, how far.
Permitting.
I just
I
think,
can't imagine what the permitting would be to get something like this done.
I would guess it's gonna be between $45,000 and $50,000 from the other things that we've seen.
For
My-
permitting alone.
Well, it is our own park.
Right.
So we're not asking for Long Island Sound. So, because we do own the lake between the 2 towns.
Do we share this expense with Lime?
Well,
luck
not
with
Park
that.
and Rec right at the moment, right? We just had a conversation with them about all this.
Well, no, but the maintenance of Haynes Park and the beach, has that historically been shared with them?
Well, if you remember right, they asked if they could get passes to go to Haynes Park
You
and
said yes.
I said we'd have to have a discussion, but the truth is that if they're going to pay for part of it, they should be able to attend there. Now, I don't see an overcrowded
We've-
parking
Yeah,
lot.
no, I don't want to get off
We've
track.
not go-
put the weed,
They
control.
they do everything from Rogers Lake Authority. They split
I mean,
50-50.
within the waterway, like the high tide mark. This kind of falls under the high tide mark, not, but I think it sounds like a $400,000 ask is a little ahead of itself in that I think there should be money allocated for engineering and for permitting. Because that all can't happen in a year, I don't think. And then maybe we're looking at
And
this
quotes.
fund of
And
putting,
true-
I don't know, if we put $75,000 in for next year and then then
I would
fine,
agree.
let's put it down $300,000 for the following year,
Right.
where based on the studies, that may be a number for the work. It may
Is
not
the,
be.
is the
but-
$50,000 line above that intended to be the engineering
Hold
for
on.
that?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Are those two numbers associated with, they're associated with each other?
All right.
they are.
But it sounds like,
Wait.
oh, no,
No. The engineering cost for that, I think it comes for, is that the engineering cost? That, I think, I'm a little confused, but I think that's supposed to be for the, White Sands Beach bathroom, because there'll be an engineering cost for that,
No,
because,
that's, the 50,000 is on,
455, Anita's note says,
oh,
455 is comprised of 400,000.
well, that's on another piece of paper.
50,000 for engineering and 5,000 for the cross lane restrooms.
it's this,
Oh, I'm sorry,
this
Oh, that-
backup that he's got here says Haynes Park dredging 400, engineering 50.
okay.
But I mean, I'm sympathetic with Andy's approach, and maybe others feel the same way, that we don't have enough information right now to begin to quantify, well, to authorize a project, let alone quantify it. So we ought to go step by step, and we ought to fund,
The engineering,
you know, the engineering, and the Board of Selectmen, I think, should be involved in making sure. I would be uncomfortable just saying to the Parks and Rec Department, you go do it and come back to us when you have a report, because I don't know that they'll do it the way you would do it. So it should just be, you know, go about it in a thoughtful way.
Is there a juncture at which the townspeople would be asked whether they're interested in spending $500,000?
So that would be in the budget, and they, you know, would raise questions for the general budget, but line items are submerged in
Their
that
survey.
budget, so they don't often.
Yeah.
survey that they did,
Do you know the survey was 189 people?
do you know that there's some of the other surveys in towns of things that we paid for have only been 300 people? But we paid for it. So I'm not saying that we are, but Candace, and I think it does wholeheartedly have to go out to the public. But I think that there are people in this town who would like to have the lake back to swim in.
I'm sure
And-
there are, but
And the Rogers Lake Association is doing so much to make sure that the health of the lake maintains itself so that we can enjoy it. That it would certainly be nice to have a swim area for those people who prefer to have their kids swim in a lake versus the ocean.
And I personally agree with that. And Rogers Lake is a wonderful asset for the towns of Lyme and Old Lyme. And the ability to swim in a freshwater lake is a great thing.
Yes,
But we have to find out, is it practical and feasible, and how much is it going to cost?
So what if
How long
we,
will the dredging like that last? Keep that open. What's the?
I understand it was dredged, it was dredged once before, but I haven't found the historical data of how much they pulled. But I do believe it was dredged before. And I'll continue to go through the files to see if I can find when it was, the exact year that it was. But a lot of what it is, and just in some conversations, you know, they've changed the boating. And sometimes when you do that, you're changing, the boats are all supposed to go, I don't know, is it counterclockwise or clockwise around a certain way? And they do, safety of boating, and that's fine. But because they do that, the silting tends to go in the same thing, and then you silt in.
That
Whereas if
doesn't really
boats go
have
different.
anything to do with Haynes Park, because boats don't go south of the first island there.
Okay, well, I'm not,
I guess my point is a consideration.
How about if
If it lasts for a
how
while.
about jet skis?
then it's worth it.
No, they can't get in there.
I think they're goose.
how about if we,
Poor
you know, leave the $50,000 in there
Yep,
for engineering,
got
and
it.
move the $400,000 out to 27,
Yeah.
28.
Thank you.
And obviously, that's not approving that expenditure at this point.
Just keeping it as a thought.
Is the 50,000, but at least shows, okay, we're listening to you. Here's the 50,000, get the engineering work done to then find out what it's gonna cost us. But
I would also
It's the same
just
as the bathroom.
note in here that, I don't know who just said goose down there, but if you're gonna spend $500,000 or more, we really need to figure out the goose problem, because people are not going to use this space. And if they're not using the space, then it is going to get silted in.
The
You know,
goose,
people are in there using the water and
we have,
in there.
we have seen a
So-
total
so-
reduction of geese once you put the goose scram down. But we also have a date with Region 18 because their goosenator is working well. And
Have you
we are
seen it?
going, have you
We
seen
saw
it?
that at the Region 18
It is a remote control, scary looking thing.
Yeah.
And the facilities, they bought it for Region 18. They're gonna come and do a demo for us. Goes on land and on water. And Ron Turner says all he has to do is get out of his car and take it out of the trunk and they fly away. They don't want anything to do with it.
I
Right,
haven't seen.
it's right there.
We need to buy 2 of those.
It's about $4,500
Done.
and it's ours forever.
Well,
That works on land and on water.
Gambling concern.
They don't like the colors.
The Red Baron.
It's human operated, so you have to pay an operator to
Can
You
you
could
show?
navigate it.
Can Tech Dentist build one of those?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That,
you
well,
could,
this
but
guy
yeah.
built them and he's patented it.
And I think
mean,
there
if
may
it
be
worked,
some
$5,000.
experiences, somebody might have said, well, the geese do get
Is there
acclimated
some
to it and are
literature
no longer
supporting that it
frightened by it.
works?
So it's a
Pay a
wonderful
lifeguard.
idea, but we
I think
need
it's
more
hard.
research before we buy it.
Train the lifeguard in the
BJ.
goosenator?
Well, I mean, they just sit there and watch nothing, so maybe
they
at least
also-
they'd have
No,
a.
they're not even
Well,
there.
it's painted another color.
There is.
Just,
Dave?
Again.
just going back to keep us on track. So
Thank
we talked about the 400 grand,
Or last
but the
year, I
45 grand for the tech refresh every year.
That was recommended by CT Comp. We're going out to bid, but the IT committee has to get together. So that will most likely change, but we are working on them.
Okay.
Where
So
are you, Dave?
He's under IT,
Next up.
just up a
He's
couple
moving.
lines.
2/3 of the way down there.
Oh, we're on a different page.
Okay.
No, he's up above.
IT capital fund number
It's,
25.
It's
BJ.
above. if you
For
look
the
at
50,000.
Yeah, it's going
I see
from
it, I see
nothing to 45 grand a year in perpetuity.
We spent money remember we allocated the end of last year, we allocated money to buy a bunch of laptops.
Yeah,
It looks like that was spent.
There are things that are aging out, but as Martha said, the contract is going out to bid.
so that's another just question mark. I'm just
Yep.
thinking of
That's a
process,
good one.
moving stuff along, so.
But
I'm
that-
hoping
back
that
to-
the IT committee will meet with Tom. Have you heard from him before, since he sent you those new numbers?
He was looking to set up a meeting, but I haven't had time
Okay.
between snow and some travel.
Yeah.
Um,
We need to
and he
get that.
sent about
out
40
and-
documents that I haven't had time to read.
But back to the Parks and Rec line item that now is 455. Andy has proposed that we take the 400 and take it out of the budget and just move it into capital expenses in 2 or 3 years, leaving 55,000, 50 for engineering and then 5,000 for the restrooms, according to Eric. I don't know what that's for, but assume it's a good number.
What about something for a goosenator?
That's not in this year's budget.
Not this year?
It
Sounds
would
like.
be-
Well, it was only
maybe
500. We can allocate that.
Yeah.
Rented from.
Staying in that
Region
park and
18.
rec one, the top line item, their Townwoods Park security upgrade,
Oh, they're not to be zero.
it is 0, but why is the 0 in 24-25 red? Is there a reason for that?
I don't know.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't called out for a reason for
Yeah.
us. Okay.
We're not gonna have cameras there.
Okay, so that's my question. We're just done with all that?
Zero, the city might have had a number of it.
Okay,
And it just.
that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing something.
She was bored on color, so she's.
So if you have many
Colors.
spreadsheets, you might think so.
And what is
Yeah.
happening at the Cross Lane Playground? Anything good?
A bathroom.
A new bathroom or just like a,
Renovating it, you know.
oh, that's
refreshing
good,
it.
because it could use a little refresh.
Yeah, it could use,
Even some paint, which
hasn't been since I was there.
400 move to next year or 2 years now?
The 400 we're
Next
putting
year.
into next year,
Okay.
but not saying that we're gonna do it.
It's not approved. It's just there.
No, I don't, just put it on. That's the difference between the bold ones or the newer ones that were added. The The ones
Yes.
that aren't enrolled are the ones that we carry over and people still need. But people still.
Are we done on that page? Are we moving down through Public Works?
I'm in the capital and number 25 fund miscellaneous. I know we all love that miscellaneous fund.
That's $5,000.
That 5,000 has been there for cords, monitors, all those things.
But he's not spending it.
Yeah, and is that a budget item or is that a capital item?
Yeah, that money.
Right, but like,
Well, currently.
Isn't-
IT
I mean, are cords and plugs and stuff, are those capital items or are those just like regular budgetary, like you have a budget for junk?
It's like
Currently
office
in the
supply.
unassigned in the capital projects.
Right, they last
The
longer than
account
a
had
year, so.
approximately 100. The account had approximately
the group ones.
183,000 in it. Of the 183, 58,000 is not marked for anything. It's just money that has been accumulating in there. So that it's interest.
Is this-
money that was.
So we maybe don't need a $5,000 miscellaneous
I say that.
expense? Does anybody else
Should be a supply, right?
feel like that
Yeah, it
needs?
doesn't seem like miscellaneous little stuff shouldn't be capital.
You're trying to eliminate this.
Unless you have to buy a laptop in any given year, which we didn't plan for, like a new employee or somebody loses one or it's stolen or
But I
something.
feel like we can allocate money for that, right? We don't need a miscellaneous.
It's okay with me.
Okay, especially if there's 58,000 miscellaneous dollars already sitting there that we haven't
Okay.
used. Maybe by
Do
a
you
couple.
want to take it out for every year on moving forward?
I mean, I don't particularly like miscellaneous.
I don't like it either. In
If it had like if it had a name, like it was for supplies or something, that might make more sense. But I just feel like if he's not using it and then, yeah, just take it. Does anybody else agree with that? I don't want to be.
Well,
unilaterally
I
taking out
agree
line
that-
items.
If it's for miscellaneous supplies, those aren't capital expenses. So
Right.
if it should be out of this budget.
Yeah.
It's gone.
A bus burn, that seems like a one-off. Seems like a capital item.
The bus. The bus barn, that is to pay the parking lot. Right, the other number, as you can see, the 57 going in and the 57, that's to let you be aware that there's. Some things that Eric needs the money for, that it's off to the side. To use for bus barn is for the fire alarm, and that kind of stuff. That comes out of the rental income that we get, so that's why it shows a number there, and then I had it negative out. You use the fund to pay for all those things.
Doesn't feel like capital to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
So he says here that we could spread this over 2 years. I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking at both spreadsheets, both trying to reckon the bus barn one.
Mm-hmm.
In the transfers out piece of paper that was in our binder, he says that the 243,000 and change
Yeah.
for
For-
inland paving could spread over 2 years.
Yeah, we put in one, and if you'd like to spread it over two, yes.
Is there a particular reason, Martha, that you'd like it in one versus two?
Just get it done.
I mean, that raises the question, could it be postponed by a year? We're gonna have an expensive budget this year, so.
And if oil prices go up, continue to go up, you'll have an expensive budget next year.
You can't predict that.
I
You know,
can't,
that-
I can't, but there will always be something that's going to come up. So we haven't even gotten, again, this is.
It's just a large expense, so I was like, you know,
Well, what you would do is, instead, you probably do it in maybe June, July.
June, July.
timeframe.
Yeah.
So that. the
They can
following
move-
Year, it would work.
Right. And they can move the buses out and they empty the lot. And I think that bid was given when it hasn't gone out to bid. It would have to go out to bid. That was an estimate given, I think, when they were doing the firehouses, the Lime Street Firehouse, he kind of got a quote. But it's not a bid. So it
so
could.
this has to go out for bid as well. So it's probably not, so could it happen this summer? Or is this already a planned expense for the end of the school year next year?
He got this quote in 12/19/24. So is when he got the quote, so this has been here, we moved it last year. So it was also there, I believe it was last year, and then we moved it, and so it's. But he said, it's up to you if you want to move it out more.
So I'm assuming it should be done and maybe
Yeah.
can be postponed, but I would recommend leaving it in the budget now. And when we get the final budget numbers and see what the aggregate is and how much we have to go back and move or cut, we can revisit it at that time. Any other questions on the transfers out? Anita, with the changes that we've already discussed, what would the new number be?
The number would be 2,442,500.
Again, please.
2,442,500.
2,442,500. So it came down less than 300,000 because we added some as well as taking something away.
Yes.
In other words, we took out the 400,000, but we transferred stuff from,
Move the 125, which is
Exactly.
significant.
We ended up hardly moving the needle.
And it's essentially doubled in 2 years. You look back at 24, 25, it was 1.3 million.
I mean, I think a big chunk of that is the roads.
And last year was 1.7. Or the current year, I would say.
Did we increase the road improvement fund in there to 1 point?
I think we kept it at $1 million.
We kept it at $1 million?
At $1 million for now.
Until we get the linear footage price for this year.
So that could potentially go up.
That was something that hadn't gone out, right? We went out to bid last year and it came in lower than expected.
Yeah.
300,000 less.
Yeah. So it's hard to say what that.
Got a lot of interest in the bid.
Yeah.
Lot of interest. People have been calling, asking questions. So that means that, I mean, last year, I think we had 5, 6 bidders.
The demand for paving is gonna go up probably this year, after this winter.
Anita, what number is the fire apparatus and equipment fund? I just can't find that on here.
Oh, there's a few of them, because they separated it out on this, they gave me, it's the fire, if you look on what sheet? If you look on the big sheet, there, it's a 128,500, 265. So it's the two of those together this year.
Okay, so it's number 20?
Yep.
It's Fund 20?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
But there's nothing in it for this year.
It's-
Well, it's not on this sheet.
That was, that's.
It's not, oh, it's not in order. It's here.
so the
Okay.
forestry vehicle, is that
Yeah,
a vehicle?
okay.
It's
Yes.
two different vehicles for us.
In 2025, we put in 128.5. And then 2020, and then for this fiscal year, we have another 128.5. But the 5-year total is still 128.
Because it's from next year, 5 years
Moving
forward.
forward.
It doesn't include.
Oh,
this
it
year.
doesn't include, right? I remember, I think
It's
somebody
5
said that
years.
before. So when we finally have enough to buy one of those vehicles, do they come off the list? Or just start from scratch again?
Start again.
You start again.
Keep going.
Yeah, because the one fire truck's like $2 million.
Yeah.
We actually were sitting at the Kerma luncheon and were offered to buy a brand new hook and ladder for 1.2 because one town ordered 2 by mistake.
What?
They ordered 2.
How can that happen?
Oops. Director of Facilities was sitting next to me saying, would you like one? Because we really could get rid of this. The finance director offered me, because I'll give it to you for 1.2.
Will they paint our name on it instead of theirs?
Oh, yeah, it's not even, it's just, it's on order. They signed the contracts and. Oh, my goodness. So,
Any questions? Any more questions on the transfers?
Be determined.
Hmm?
To be determined.
I mean, it sounds like there's a few things that we have
Yeah.
questions on.
you want to sit on it and I'll get you the answers to the questions for Eric for the police department and to make sure that the environmental testing is included. And to talk about the painting for the building, Holler Park, and to get a little bit of an update from Dave on the radio project.
I had
Those are my notes.
Edidante to revisit the paving costs as well.
But we can't do that for a few weeks until we get the bid
Okay.
back.
Well,
I think we should vote on it tonight and then we'll come back and change it if we want to.
It doesn't sound like any of those are significant.
Whatever. I'm fine with the paint outside the building. Looks great.
Anybody want to move the 24425?
I'll move the 2442500 for transfers out.
Second,
Second.
Candace and Anna. If you folks don't want to vote on it tonight, don't. But all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, and it's easy enough, but I'd just like to be able to check this off at least for the time being.
No, just fine tuning.
Revenues.
No changes, so that's just in our book?
No, she gave you this.
Oh,
Gave you this.
Oh,
on
boy.
this one.
Okay, the single sheet, the other single sheet.
When I did the book, we didn't even, it was not very much.
Oh, this is interesting. So for on the revenue sheet, you have an estimate for taxes of 44 million. Up from this year for 40,000,008. I assume that that's just an estimate and we shouldn't worry about that yet.
Yeah, that's an estimate right now. I already have the grand list number, so it's an estimate. That number is actually comes by what to balance the budget. So it's right now, at the time I printed this, that was the number to balance.
Okay, I'm just looking at it and thinking that's going to be, I can't do the arithmetic, but it's a significant increase.
10%.
It's not quite 10%, but yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
We got to charge more for parking.
It really shouldn't say parking fines.
Well, that's only for the fines, because they now separated out. Previously, they were not. That's why I had them both together last year. And this fiscal year, they started separating out on the pay stub, how much is the fine and how much is the parking lot. That's why you'll see on the bottom.
Oh, parking lot,
passes
okay,
Just separate.
okay, got
So
it.
they now are separating it out, so they separated it out again, so you can see how much we are collecting separately.
So,
Let's take a look at building. The estimate is significantly below the actuals historically.
And the reason for that is current year and last year, he had new housing developments, and he doesn't see any on the horizon for this year.
Well, but it's going back to 22, 23. The numbers are 441, 438, 420, 430, and we're at 373 already as of 131.
Yeah.
Just seems low to me.
I did speak to Mark, and Mark was saying that he's had, people were doing stuff to their houses, people were building, we've had a couple of housing developments. And he's saying he doesn't see anything.
He sees a slowdown for the coming year.
He says, but again, you can't predict.
Well, that's
But
what he's trying
he
to do.
doesn't foresee anything at the time. And that was about 2 weeks ago when I talked to him.
he's being conservative.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we bumped that number up a couple years ago because it had been consistently over.
Yes, you can see over the year.
You went from 300 to 325.
And then we had gone from 170 to 300.
Yeah, then it went up to 300 and then 325. I mean, I'll go to 350.
He
Have
did
the fee,
increase,
have the fees changed?
he changed his fees last year. Not all, but some. I can ask him. And I know he was doing some homework on it earlier this year because had asked for some information.
It would be nice to know like how many of these numbers included housing developments over the last 4 or 5 years. Because, you know, the 363 and 21, 22 may have been due to a little bit of that COVID money that people got. And then were these other ones increases because of housing developments? It would make sense to be like, yeah, we had 3 years of housing developments and now we don't have any more. So maybe 363 would be more in line, but
Like the 429, I can tell you for 24, 25, the actuals, that was mostly Button Ball. The houses on Button Ball.
Mhm.
I can't- And you're gonna see he does have those houses on Button Ball that are still to be developed on the corner of 156 and Button Ball. All those fees haven't come in yet.
and those are anticipated next year, not in the next
I can't
couple
believe they're going
months.
to build every single house between now and
Okay.
July 1st.
Okay.
I'm getting a 5-year average of 409.
But Mark knows what's approved. We don't.
Okay.
Is it like a flat fee or do you get more for a bigger house than a smaller
Square
house?
footage per square permits is
Percent.
based on the square footage and per square footage fee, and also so what's the project?
So is that right? It's on the square footage and not the estimated cost?
For a new build, and then
That's all but you pay fees on
how
new roof
kitchens,
and
new
your
roof, driveway, like driveway permit is very low.
Right.
That could be, but that's not Mark.
Zoning is also kind of like all over the place.
Well, and
What-
every year it is, I just take about the same amount. Approximately the same amount of money and I just spread it over different numbers.
What is that? What is their revenue stream?
Their revenue.
But it's so wonky.
They do permit.
I mean,
Special permits.
They
Yeah.
do Special permits, the zoning, inlands, wetlands.
I mean, something really got screwed up in 24, 25. We
25.
budgeted 10,000 and they only came in with $187.
Right, but it went into the other ones because planning, zoning, ZBA. Land use, inlands, wetlands are all the same department. So it depends on how they coded it when they turned the money in.
so you think that in the year 24,
So-
25, there was a zone,
One
a
year,
coding problem?
planning does higher than inlands, wetlands, the next year inlands, wetlands does more. So.
I don't know, that year we were
know.
all down. We didn't make much money. Something didn't happen there.
It's not gonna move the needle.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
it's
$44
$44 million budget.
Unliquidated
We're talking about
encumbrances.
a couple thousand.
Unliquidated encumbrances, what are those?
That is basically your carryover, it's your carryover of what we give back. It's at the end of the year, the ones that you don't, approve, you get carryover again and you give it back.
Okay,
So we have to show it as a revenue because we've already shown it as an expenditure.
okay.
Right, so I increased building right now, I'll put it at 350. And I
What about, I'm sorry, the parking passes at the beach?
Mhm.
parking passes at the beach. I went up to 60.
Okay, because of 74.
74.
Okay, and we haven't finished this. We haven't done this
But
year yet.
that also included, the parking fines last year.
Oh, so we took the parking fines out.
We took the fines out and put fines above.
Gotcha,
Because they're showing it now.
gotcha. And that was like 20
So
grand.
you're,
Yeah.
so you're expecting me to, so that line for this year will be what we sell for parking passes and the fees that we take in from the parking lot? $60,000? I'm just want to make sure
Yeah.
it's parking, because, well, it's, the word it is parking passes and beach just throws me.
Oh.
I mean, if it said parking passes and parking lot, then I would know that,
okay.
that those are the fees,
Okay.
but beach doesn't.
Is that what it is? It includes,
Because
it's
then
the
you
beach
have- But
fees?
then you have parking lot on the next line, so I'm trying to determine
Right.
what's the parking lot?
Oh,
is
these are, you used to call them beach passes. And then we changed them to parking passes.
Yeah, no, parking lot, the next line down. What is parking lot?
Must be our revenue from the Soundview parking
From
lot.
the parking.
But I'm not bringing in $60,000 for beach passes, parking passes for the beach. We sold. Michelle, what did we sell last year? We sold 1,700 at $30 a pop.
$35 a piece.
So I don't know, I don't know how we got to 60,000. I mean, and then the other thing is for revenue, and that's the other thing, is the private parking lots. Where is that income stream for the private parking permits that we do for the 6 or 7 parking lots that
Is
we,
that in one of these
I'm assuming it's somewhere in here.
like
I just-
building,
but-
zoning?
We don't vote on the revenue anyway, do we?
I think we have, we have. that
I don't
discussion.
think so.
I don't think, I mean, it kind of is
What it is.
what it is, but I think
Well,
it sounds,
but we vote on the budget and the mill rate and all that stuff.
right.
So we have to be comfortable with
Right.
the revenue
So
assumptions.
it sounds like there's some areas here where Anita and Martha might have to revisit where things are categorized.
I'm sorry, but this is the first I saw of this
Well,
particular sheet.
it's first we've seen it too, but, which is fine. But for us to sit here and pick it apart,
Right.
to me, doesn't make any sense.
But
Like,
what have you
it
been
may be
saying
premature that we have this.
about the beach passes, the 60,000? Historically, it's consistent, right?
She moved stuff out of
But
it.
stuff got
Move some
moved.
stuff
Yeah,
out of it.
these
So-
fines, that's why this is a new line that came out of there.
Well, no, not the beach passes.
I missed.
These are the beach
Let's-
parking passes. He
Hold
took
on,
that out of the
Jesus.
parking lot.
If you look at-
Well, that's Martha's question,
if-
because it says parking passes beach, right?
She
No,
thinks it's.
So it was-
Versus lot fee.
It's the one.
It's
the one underneath, I misspoke here.
Maybe you just clarify.
See over here?
Just clarify for all of us and tell us what we're looking at.
We just,
So I put it over here, see, I
We need the
took
overall.
fines out of this
Yeah,
line,
okay.
not the one before. That
Oh,
was
I
just
see.
based on average, that was why I was misspoke, I looked at the wrong note.
That's okay.
What are we looking at?
I said the wrong notes, that is where the fines are coming out, so this is the check we get for the lot. This is the check we get for the lot. This was based
Okay,
on your
we
beach
can't
pass,
use the word fines. Fines are what a police for ticketing, things
that's why
like.
it's up here now. Because that's what they give them a fine.
So this is parking lot. This is the income we get for parking charges.
Right, the kiosk, years ago was the kiosk.
Okay, now, but where does this $60,000
That's,
coming
they give
from?
us the money for the people pay for the houses. That's the houses ones. That's the ones that you get the beach passes.
So it's parking passes and parking lot. It would be parking the
Private lot.
parking lot.
Private parking.
So it can't just say beach because that throws us
Parking
all.
passes and the beach lot.
let her redo the fee.
Mhm.
You gotta redo the sheet, Anita, so that
Yeah.
it's too confusing
there might
because
be
there's so
some
much
things that-
down there that's coming into this.
Flip it over, there's,
Yeah, I know. But on that line item, Anita, why is there only $12,600 so far this year?
Because that was for September, it was like August, September, July, August, because most of the money comes before June. It's like
Beach
May,
passes.
June.
May, June, the money
May,
comes in.
June, is where you get
And
most of your
we
money.
pay for the beach parking
Yeah.
as
Like
well
if
as the
you-
beach
If
passes.
you want to pass, you buy it,
And-
buy it in the spring.
And our private lots pay us in May, right? Michelle, my little private lot person, May, and then was July 15th is the second one.
So that's why the 12,000 is probably sitting in there. The majority of that is probably that
From
July 15th.
July
Going
15th.
down to 3.5% a couple of years ago. at
We just gotta
900.
rename things
You
so
know.
it's clear, because you just can't, we can't say
It's been in the
beach.
system for years that way. It just-
I know, but we're getting more in tune, we're getting
I
more.
have a question, who's in, like, who is the supervisor of the crossing guard, the school crossing guard?
The police department.
Do they offer training? And could you maybe find out if that's a possibility?
Well, I would be more than happy to talk to Derek about it. Now that,
I don't know that she was ever truly trained on like which movements with your hands mean stop and go. And it's very confusing.
I just want you to know that I stood there.
She's a very nice person.
I sat there one day and she let one car go.
Yep.
And I was like, why can't the rest of us go? Because no one's turning in.
Yep.
But she had us all stopped. And then some guy went around me and went right through her.
And that happens, so it happens every
I was
day, and
like-
I just think that if she's gonna allow, because right now she stops traffic in all directions and allows the buses to go on the wrong side of the road and pass everyone. And there are sometimes people who come from the other side into the bus, into the wrong lane. So now the bus and the car have to do this and they have to put, it's very confusing and I think it's very dangerous. And I think it would be great if there was some training offered to her because I feel like she was hired as like a low wage employee and it's a,
I will tell you
it's a
this, she
training.
didn't think that she was going to be happy at Mile Creek. She's almost offered to quit. And then but now she's very happy there.
Oh,
And
great.
the high school seems to be doing fine.
Yeah,
Without,
totally fine.
we
don't
seem
need her.
to be running down it. Lime Street seems to be okay in the morning
She's a
without,
whistle or something too.
okay, so why don't I'll make a meeting and you're gonna come,
You do.
you're gonna
It's pretty
come.
wild.
Not
So,
to
yeah,
mention
but
the traffic.
I don't
jam
wanna get
starts
off-
on Mile Creek at what time? Like 2:20?
Yep.
It's insane.
It is. So that was why it'd just be nice if maybe she had a little bit of like how to move traffic.
Okay, well, you know what? There's probably a T2 school for that, and I can see if we can send her.
That'd be great. Oh, no more FEMA grants? Oh, goodness.
If for interest, I guess with the 3.5, projections out there are saying any place for business checking between 3.9. For next year for the fall, so
Who contributed the
Already-
$2,000 for the fireworks? Do we have an anonymous
fees
donor?
That's fees that, Dave takes in.
For
He
what?
he takes a check in from the firework people. And then he pays people out of that. Money.
Oh, because they give him money because we provide them with fire department monitors so they don't have to bring people down. That's what they're doing. So they're taking their fees out.
I need to take a look at the pilot estate property reimbursement that you brought down and you say, per state report CCM estimate. But why would the property reimbursements go down? I think that based on the state budget, they may be able to reduce the percentage that they reimburse the town.
Intergovernmental is 6.
Hmm?
0.006.
Pilot state
Yes.
property.
That's what CCM gave me.
But it doesn't, I'm just thinking out loud and saying the state budget is great. So even if the statute permits the state to pay less than 100% of what they're supposed to, there's no reason why they should this year.
That's just the information that we get from CCM.
Yeah, it's, it's $18,000. It's not material.
And it says the proposed change
Was 18,000. They came down 18,820, 51.3.
Mhm.
And they get it from the government proposed budget.
Change the formula.
Maybe. So it sounds to me that the only number we might want to entertain increasing is the building permit number. What do you think?
I mean, our professionals are giving us their best estimates. How do we, as a Board of Finance, know any better?
Well, it's just that this number is lower than it's ever been on this chart.
which one?
Maybe that's the trend.
I think we have to comfortable going.
I think, I would think we can let Martha question them again, but again, we're not voting on the revenues. We've
No.
got other items on the agenda tonight that are a couple anyway, that need to be voted on. I think this is the first time we've all seen this. Maybe other questions will
Got it.
crop up.
He said to talk to Mark. I'll talk to Mark.
I don't know. Just-
We'll probably get an updated one when we get to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Every month.
Right.
Okay. So let's move on. Where do we find Parks and Rec salaries?
We didn't do the salary for those departments.
Yeah, where,
Where is it?
Give us a new one or
It's
is that
just at
in
our
the book?
204, right?
No, that was, yeah, that was just
In the
part
book.
of rec, I didn't give you a new one because it was just the salaries we approved.
Yep.
Their expenditures, we just didn't have salaries in those, that was the one before we had salaries.
I'll share with you if you want.
So we can just approve
So
the
it's in the
salaries, right?
So I'm just gonna give you the number for the salaries.
So he's gonna give you the number.
Add two.
She's just giving you the number.
Are you just giving it to us orally?
Yes, what is it?
Park and rec. For the, no.
Can you give us a second? Just
Wait a
let's
sec,
get
hang
to our
on,
book
what number is
so
it?
we can write it down.
204.
Gonna get a new sheet.
Okay,
So for the park and rec, you approved 80,650. The salaries come to 334,646. For a total of 415,306 for park and rec.
Did you want it
15006.
415306? I got.
So the approval of the salary portion is again 334,646. And that's the park and rec. And then Townwood's Park is 8,516.
Can you say that?
Gatekeeper.
Can you do that again? Town Woods Park, what?
Townwood's Park, the gatekeeper is 8,516, 8516. You have already approved 156,690. The new total is 165,206.
the new total, including the salaries?
That just for
Right.
Tenwoods Park, because it's
Oh,
broken out
just for
on here. It's
Tenwoods.
broken out on here as Parks and Rec and then Tenwoods
Oh,
and then
I get it.
other.
I get it.
Okay, so Town Woods, we approved the 156, but now it's what instead?
You have to, well, you can just, if you want to just approve the salary one, then they add together to whatever, however you would like to do.
Just add the just approve the two salaries. She'll change the numbers
Right.
and you'll have the other.
So the two numbers that are new tonight are the Park and Rec salary at 334,646 and the Town Wood salary at 8516.
Correct.
Do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
Anna and Candace. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Those are approved.
And then we need a motion for the 8,516 for the gatekeeper.
It was all in one.
It was all in
All
one.
one.
Yeah, that was included.
The motion was.
It was both.
And you
both
voted
those
for it.
salaries.
Okay, what's next?
Approval of minutes.
The minutes.
Just to get discussion on the table, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and then
Second.
we could.
And Andy and Anna? If you folks go to page 3, Michelle, go to page 3 and look down at transfer station.
I'm the only one left on. Everybody else left.
You there?
Yep.
So if you read the first sentence, this covers the daily operation of the transfer station.
Station 7.
That's the only comment I have. Everybody ready to comment or say you don't have any?
No.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? That, the minutes are approved as amended. For any other business?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
I had to make a change. We got the final number in for Valley Shore. And they are, we approved 183,401. Is now being reduced to 179,939.
Wow,
Where is that in the book?
it is,
Public,
205.
safety.
Oh, it's 205, public safety.
So a decrease of what?
First page, about a third of the way down.
$462. And you're coming in at the 4, the extra.
Just came in the other day. Got a letter.
That's nice of them.
They know we budgeted the 180. And then
I'm sorry, Anita,
Here
can
it
you give me
is.
the number one more time?
The new number is 179,939.
Okay, so we approved the 183. Should we take another vote and approve the 179?
want to take 3,400 out of the budget, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll move
Motion.
179,939 for Valley Shore Public Safety.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
Any nays, say nay. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? So that was done. Any other business?
I just have an update. The Grassy Hill Bridge project will go out for another year. We'll ask for an extension we have 2 residents that have asked for, we haven't obtained their easements yet, so we cannot go out for a bid on a state project without the easements in place. We are working with, an appraiser who does DOT projects to work on, one resident has requested some financial assistance with the easement. So we're getting an appraisal on that. And also the other resident has not been in communications, but thanks to Mark Wayland yesterday, the person has said they're coming in to talk to me. So hopefully that will move forward because we have made multiple attempts with certified letters, which he has signed for, but has been basically not responding to phone calls. But I think that's going to change, or we hope it does. The other item is that we had talked about having a town car here at town, using one of the old police cars for Mark Wayland. He doesn't feel that that car is suitable because of getting in and out. But Eric Olson came to me and said he would love to have a car here and not put the mileage on his truck. He's more than happy to use his truck when he has to go pick up something that needs a truck, but he would be more than happy to use the police car. So he and Derek McGregor will, he'll get a tour of the car from Derek McGregor, and then we'll figure it out how we're going to utilize that car here at Town Hall starting in July. So it'll get her off the lot. And then I think Anita too will have a car. Derek has a car that we can put up for sale as well. So that's my big update.
Thank you. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Andy seconds it.
Jim did.
No, Kim did. All right, we're adjourned.